Does it not just save in the right spot?
Looks like it decided to save in a different place, so I will wait. Pain. 1 second, chat. His face is here. Why is it not letting me select it? Let me. Can I? I think that should do the job. Let's see. All right, Day's face is exactly where it needs to be. What's good, everybody? We are back with another week, or I guess another day of Mobile Mayhem. We already started the week. Definitely lots of action the first day, as we did have the debut of our content team, the Trovo Mayhem. They will be playing again tonight, as you can see right here on our schedule. We do have a pretty jam-packed lineup. Nova Imperium versus Zygnus in game number 1. Zygnus definitely one of the new teams to watch. Team 11 versus Nova Invictus should make for a good matchup as well. Tribe Gaming versus Strike Zone in game number 3. And then NL Esports versus Trovo Mayhem in game 4. That's definitely the one that I am personally most excited to see. I feel like there's a lot of... Yep.
Don't mean to interrupt you. I think you're streaming under Warzone.
I'll change that real quick. Thank you for the heads up. I'll go ahead and pull up. Oh, that's the bracket. Pull up the bracket real quick. Please permit me. Call of Duty Mobile. We'll go ahead and save it right there. And as you can see, NL Esports is actually tied with Trovo Mayhem up at the top of Division 1, looking like this is going to be the most competitive division. Keep in mind, the results are slightly skewed for Division 2, as Tribe Gaming has not technically lost any of their matches, but they did forfeit 2 of them as a result of not properly submitting screenshots. So that is definitely something we're going to have to keep in mind, as they are currently down at the bottom of Division 2, but will likely continue to work their way up. They will be going up against Strike Zone, who does have 10 points so far, but definitely struggled a good bit versus the Trovo Mayhem. With all that being said, I believe we actually do have all of our teams loaded in and ready to go. So without too much more talking, we are going to be playing Hardpoint Scrapyard for game number 1. Game 2 will be Firing Range Search and Destroy. Standoff Domination if we go to a game 3. As far as the bans, we do have the DRH being banned by Nova Imperium and the Man of War being banned by Zygnus. So that means the ASM-10 will still be in play. And with that being the most dominant weapon in this season, definitely expect to see a good bit of it. But as you guys can see right here, we are good to go. Game number 1, Scrapyard Hardpoint. It seems like we're going to have quite a bit of this season, since I feel like it's been the most common hardpoint map that we've had.
It has certainly been one that we've seen over and over again, not only here today, but at the very beginning of the season as well. Actually, I'm hearing from a lot of players that they really like this map, as well as Hacking the Yard. So I don't know if that's just because things are changed up a little bit, or what exactly is going on with there, but it does seem to at least be a map that the players enjoy. So you see Forsaken picking up a couple kills there on High and Swag. Glad to see High back here on the Nova Imperium team this week, or well, today.
Yep, definitely a big player to have back for them. It's actually Vitali way up at the top. 5 kills on the board for him. He actually struggled a good bit on Tuesday in the games for this Nova Imperium team, so for him to be all the way up at the top by quite a significant amount, definitely a good sign for them. Even though they're not getting a whole lot of contributions from the rest of the team, and in the kill department, they're really lacking quite a bit. They've actually been able to mount a decent lead off the start of this hardpoint. We do have S-Thug securing that backside, and right now Zygnus is set up really, really well to get some good time on this hill. We do have Bear already with 7, make it 8 kills on the board, abusing that head glitch, using the AK-117, which we've started to see more and more in this season of Mobile Mayhem. S-Thug using that 4x Arctic 50 that he's really been sticking with, and it is actually going to be Zygnus retaking the lead for the time being. Bear already up into double digits. That is an early frag out for him. We'll see if this Nova Imperium team can push back a little bit and try to even up the score.
Yeah, they sure seem to be trying right now. As you mentioned, Bear rocking it in double digits right now. Vitali over on the opposition is trying his hardest as well. He's got 8 kills on the board. Swag struggling to find his groove. As I say, that picks up a double kill for the team. You have about a 25-point lead right now for the side of Zygnus. And they definitely would like to extend that, but currently it is Nova Imperium on the point. A couple kills going over to the favor of Zygnus. A beautiful drop shot by Bear there, leading off with the jump into the drop, able to pick up the kill. That's 12 on the board for him. S-Thug rocking up at 11 kills as well. So this Zygnus team definitely woke up here a little bit against the Nova lineup they are facing off against. Bear just winning every fight against High right now. Definitely not what we're used to seeing out of High. So I definitely would expect things to change a little bit in the later stages of this game, as well as in Search and Destroy, because again, this Nova lineup that we have is just incredibly strong at Search and Destroy overall. Vitali picking up a kill onto Cortez there, trying to make the rotation on over as we get ready to go into P3. It is a 70-point lead for the side of Zygnus right now.
I mean, this duo of Bear and S-Thug over on Zygnus is just absolutely cooking everybody over on Nova Imperium. They're combined for 28 kills right now. I think that's got to be pretty close to the total for Nova Imperium, and obviously you got to take into account the rest of the team as well. Really surprised to see this. I just now realized Forsaken is actually playing on Zygnus right now. So most of you will probably remember he was on the Fierce team that ended up getting 6-0'd in Search and Destroy. The roster locks have not yet happened, so not too surprising to see him switching teams right there. And definitely a big pickup for this Zygnus team. Even though he's not top fragging right now, just having those contributions is always going to put you one step closer to being on track to being one of those top teams. And right now we do see the 40-point lead mounting for Zygnus going up against one of the top teams in Mobile Mayhem. Definitely a phenomenal start for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And there definitely will be an adjustment period for a lot of these players who, in the last season, did make use of the iPad. Now, obviously, having to play on phones. I know Forsaken is one that played on iPad in the last season, but has played on phone a majority of his past experience, or at least a large portion of it. So he's up in double digits, so clearly not struggling too much right now with that switch. But man, as you mentioned, the duo of Bear and S-Thug is absolutely just laying bullets into the enemy, as S-Thug does find a kill onto Wally there. They've extended their lead at this point well over 100 points. And if you're Nova Imperium here, you definitely need to do something. Either get your rotations together, learn the map a little better. I'm not quite sure what it is for them yet, but left and right, it is just Zygnus winning a majority of these guys. Wag down at 6, not something we expect to see. Nova down at 6, or High down at 6 kills, not something we expect to see. Vitali, again, 16 kills on the board, doing work. Wally, typically a little bit more of a fragger in these respawn game modes, is struggling a little bit as well. So definitely keep an eye on these guys in our future games, as well as, again, maybe today, because this is a team that has historically been incredibly strong in Search and Destroy as well. So
yeah, Bear is absolutely cooking right now. 25 kills on the board for him, holding down the hard point as well. He's really doing it all, and he actually stacks up a couple more right there as he does call in the Pred missile. I believe a little spectator glitch, as we do once again have Zygnus on the hill, and this game is just not even close. I'm honestly kind of shocked. Not necessarily that Nova Imperium is losing, but they're losing by this amount. They just have not been able to win their gunfight so far. We got all but Cortez in double digits for Nova Imperium, and High and Swag have both been stuck down at 6 for so long. They just really have not been able to get anything going. We have High finally picking up a kill, but he still dies to the Sparrow right there. So It looks like this is going to be pretty quick work for the Cygnus team. Bear continuing to cook with the AK-117. This is not even him abusing the ASM-10, which most people would consider to be the best gun in COD Mobile right now. He's going with the off-meta, and he is making it work and making it look easy. His teammate taking out S-Thug, or Swag right there, I believe, with ease, and right now, it looks like this Cygnus team is going to be one of the top contenders throughout the season of Mobile Mayhem. Obviously, Search and Destroy is going to be a very different story, but with the way that they performed in game number 1, you really got to watch out for this team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, picking up a win over a team like Nova Imperium with a 201-point lead is no easy feat, even with several players in the league making that switch from iPad to iPhone. And again, this could change. I mean, as players get more adapted to the maps that have been added to the rotation this season, as players get more used to playing without persistence, the changes to dead silence, the operators being different for each player, or at least each player on a team. There's a lot of changes that can really switch up the flow of things that some players might adapt to a little bit faster, some might struggle behind. So I would expect Nova to do a little bit better in Search and Destroy. But you are not wrong at all. Cygnus is looking like an incredibly strong team that could really go the distance.
Yeah. Loyal, obviously one of the players that we were really keeping an eye on. On Tuesday, he was fragging out for them. Didn't really have a ton of kills, but he was the main OBJ player with 2 minutes and 50 seconds on the hill. Still went positive, 14 and 10 right there, but the players to really watch out for. S-Thug, who's looking like, I would call him the space of Season 5, the master of the Arctic 50. Obviously, Bear top fragging with 33 as well. Fantastic performance for him, and really, Swag and High were not able to get anything going. So we saw Swag really excel, especially in the Search and Destroy on Tuesday. We'll see if he's going to be able to bounce back as we do get ready to hop into the Search and Destroy right here. But no doubt Nova Imperium going to need to make some big changes if they're going to be able to give Cygnus a run for their money in game number 2.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And again, this has been a team that has some unknown players to us, some repeat players under different names. So there's been a couple. I know Loyal is one that we really just were really kind of blown back by in the opening of the season. Just performed so well out of nowhere. S-Thug as well, a player that's known in the community, but we didn't know how he was going to really perform in the competitive side of things with the limited competitive experience that he has, and has really just done phenomenal. I believe Bear was from Exiled.
Yep.
And if he's going to play all season long like he's playing here right now, this Cygnus team could absolutely be the team to beat.
Yeah. And you got to keep in mind, like, S-Thug and Loyal have both been super consistent as well. Obviously, we can't put too much on their consistency given that we're only a couple days into the season, but Loyal definitely had a number of big performances on Tuesday, and S-Thug seems to have really mastered the Arctic 50 with the 4 times right there. So those are 2 other players that you're going to keep an eye on. You got the reigning MVP of Mobile Mayhem in Forsaken, and obviously some good support players as well. So we'll see if they can continue that momentum into the Search and Destroy. It's going to be a very different story. We've seen High jump out of the lobby. That may just be for a reset. He may have been lagging right there. I would be surprised to see him subbed out for the Search and Destroy, especially as one of the best snipers in Mobile Mayhem. Obviously, Swag had a phenomenal performance, even though Nova Imperium was not able to get the win on Tuesday. Swag especially had a really good performance, so we'll see if he's able to bring that back and maybe give Cygnus a run for their money. Just taking a look at the standings once again, as we do have High getting back into the room. Nova Imperium actually got 2-0'd on Tuesday, but even with that happening, they are still at the top of Division 2, which is, I believe, similar to Division 1 for last season. It seems like we always have fairly lopsided divisions. Teams 1 through 4 in Division 1 at 20 or above, and only one team at 20 points in Division 2. Obviously, that can change throughout the season, But we typically tend to see those things continue their way through. Tribe Gaming definitely one of those teams that you expect to see at higher than 0 points, especially coming later in the season. Most of that resulting from the DQ as a result of not submitting screenshots. That's likely something they'll be able to get smoothed out, and we'll likely see them start to surge later on in the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to touch on it a little bit, because I see it going on in chat, it's not an excuse for them to do bad because they're on phone, but you guys do have to keep in mind, these are all professional players that, leading all the way up until literally New Year's Eve, they put their practice all in on iPad and then switch devices here for Season 5. That will absolutely take some adapting to get used to. There's a lot of muscle memory involved in where all your buttons are, and going from something this big to this big is very different. So I definitely will absolutely give the players a little bit of credit for performing well with the transition, and point out the ones that are underperforming during the transition.
Yep. For those of you who are wondering, we do still have 3 matchups coming after this one. So 11 versus Nova Invictus. Nova Invictus struggled a pretty good amount on Tuesday night. We'll see if they're able to bounce back. Obviously, 11 with a lot of really solid players on there. Another one of our Latin America teams that you're really going to want to keep an eye out for. And then following that, we will have Tribe Gaming, always one of the fan favorites, regardless of who is on the roster, going up against Strike Zone. Definitely the matchup that I'm most excited to watch tonight is going to be NL Esports versus Trovo Mayhem. I believe the Trovo Mayhem roster will be looking a good bit different. I think both Noah and Godsley are getting subbed out for B-Nates and Aerith, so it'll be interesting to see how they match up against NL Esports, especially with those two being 2 of the pillars of the team, I would say. Definitely looking forward to that one. It looks like we've got most of our players ready up, and we should be good to hop into game number 2 pretty soon here.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think one of the better matchups to look forward to, like you mentioned, is the Trovo Mayhem roster up against NL Esports. They are leading Division 1 right now, tied with 40 points apiece. So obviously in the standings alone, that matchup really makes an important difference. But as well, just seeing how these 2 teams are going to compete, because obviously the content creator team does have some ex-pro players in Tectonic and Vague, who are both using phones, so they're not taking advantage of the fact that team has been allowed to use iPads. I do believe there's definitely a fair cushion for allowing some of the non-pros that aren't used to playing on the phone, Godsley, Aerith, B-Nates. I think it's fair that they're allowed to use iPads. So.
Yeah, and you got to take into account most of these pro players have been either out of the competitive scene for a while or just not in the competitive scene at all, and they do spend the majority of their time focusing on content rather than scrimming like a lot of these pro players do. And I think we'll start to see throughout the season that it is actually going to be a pretty even matchup. We do have Forsaken getting the opening pick onto Nova Imperium right here, and pretty content to chill in top of 10. I think almost trying to convince this Nova Imperium team that he has moved elsewhere. Not going to be able to land the shot on top of Wood, but Bear's going to be able to take out Wally right there. With him and High both removed from the equation, definitely a really solid start for this Zygnus team. Bear's going to take out Swag, and with that, Vitali and Bye-Bye, the only players remaining right here. Vitali does manage to get a frag, but his teammate is going to drop. He's going to take shots onto Bear. He actually gets the kill right there. Looking more manageable, he takes out Forsaken right there, and suddenly this is very, very possible. Vitali finds the 3 early kills. S-Thug has the Arctic 50 in hand, and that is definitely a risky challenge for Vitali. Would like to be able to find the element of surprise elsewhere, especially with the one-tap ability, but S-Thug's going to spot him across from Wood, and with that, it will be Zygnus taking round 1.
And that was a very, very close round. And again, we did expect Nova to perform a little bit better moving into Search and Destroy. Thanks to Vitali, that has so far looked to be the case. 3 kills for him in that last round. I believe 2 of which are when he was alone versus 3 remaining members of the side of Zygnus. So hopefully the rest of the team can pick up a little bit of the slack there. Obviously, looking at Nova and Swag, kind of the sniper experts here on the team, definitely going to be looking for some sort of opening pick. The real question is, can they find the angle that they need? Swag did just miss the shot onto... I don't even know who's in trailer right now because all of the Zygnus names look alike.
Yeah, Bear's on the inside of the trailer. He took I think he took 6 shots right there. Somehow he missed that shot on high. That looked like it was going to be an easy one. And a little bit of a potato fest going back and forth. Both players missing each other. Finally, High is able to win that gunfight. That will open things up. Forsaken's actually able to trade with a frag nade onto Swag, but we do have things opened up, and that'll allow Bye-Bye with the bomb to push up onto the A site, looking wide open for the time being for this Nova Imperium team. Could potentially take the advantage for the first time. Hyde's going to find a frag right there, I believe, taking out S-Thug, which is a big one, especially with how lethal he has been with that Arctic 50. ACOG, one player down below in Loyal, really trying to dodge the snipes from High, and somehow High doesn't hear where the shots are coming from. I'm assuming probably a silenced LK, and Loyal's able to win the gunfight. He actually swaps right there, pulls out the ASM-10, but unfortunately, he's not going to be able to win it, and it will be Nova Imperium tying things up at 1-1.
Yeah, Hyde definitely stepped things up that round, picking up 2 early kills for the team, really helped things out. As you mentioned, Bye-Bye as well. And then Wally was able to pick up a kill, so pretty clean performance coming out of the side of Nova there. And they definitely need these clean performances going up against a team like Zygnus, which has been performing so incredibly strongly, not only in respawn, but just in their gun skill and in their macro overall. I did miss the shot there, unfortunately, on S-Thug. That would have been a wonderful pick for him to pick up, because, as you mentioned earlier, I mean, he's kind of like the, I don't want to say, like, the new space, but, you know, obviously a player that can perform exceptionally well with the Arctic 50. We'll have to see if he's able to pick that one up there.
And there
Finds the Dome of Swag.
I mean, that's the thing about the Arctic 50. If you put stopping power on it, it literally one-taps from anywhere on the body. So you can shoot somebody in the toe, still going to get you a kill. Logically, it doesn't make sense, but that's the way the game works, and you definitely see some of these players capitalizing on it. With one player down for Nova Imperium, that makes the defense a whole lot easier for this Zygnus team. One player jumping down, S-Thug not able to land the wallbang, but we do already have a minute and 15 seconds taken away. Vitali just barely going to dodge the snipe from S-Thug. And as time starts to dwindle, the pressure starting to increase. S-Thug's going to find another pick. Shocked he wasn't able to land one right there. Very nearly had a 4-piece, and he finally gets taken down. But with Bear on the backside with the AK-1, he's actually not going to be able to land a shot. Unfortunately for Nova Imperium, Bye-Bye going to be the only player left right here. He's stuck now into a 1v3. Forsaken's working that head glitch. Obviously, he doesn't need to push out of American. Cortez is going to hop out. It's actually Forsaken that gets the pick anyway. And we do have this Zygnus team retaking the lead at 2-1.
All I have to say is if that was space, that would have been a quad feed. So...
True.
Gotta throw it out there. S-Thug, we believe in you, but you just gotta step it up a little bit.
You gotta make the quad feed happen. Like, you gotta do it for the content. Oh, Cortez.
And we got a couple snipe kills picked up by the side of Zygnus there in Loyal and Cortez. The entire team actually rocking snipers right now. I don't know if I paid close enough attention to know if all 5 have been running it the whole time, but Vitali is able to pick up the double kill there onto Cortez and Loyal. That is really big for him, carrying the team on his shoulders. 7 kills on the board. So excellent, excellent performance coming out of him. But they are evened out. So we'll have to see if they can make a safe rotation over. We had a lot of members of Zygnus over watching the B side. And it looks like Nova were trying to make the A push, but they're playing quite passive. Maybe ended up costing them a little bit as Bear is able to find the headshot onto onto Swag. Bear then finds Wally as well. It's now a lonely Vitali, and I mean, if it's going to be anybody in a 1v3, it would be Vitali, but S-Thug gonna find the kill. 3-1 going over the side of Zygnus.
Yeah, Vitali really wanted the 1v5 right there, but when you're going up against this many Arctic 50s with stopping power, it's typically going to be tough to take any sort of a long-range fight, especially against anybody that has any idea what they are doing with it. So we'll see if this Nova Imperium team is able to bounce back right here. You can see they're pretty content to sit back, play passive, and we are going to have a pretty early A-plant, which they haven't really been able to do so far over on the offensive side. But S-Thug, once again, timing has just been absolutely perfect as he's going to be able to take out high. It is, once again, a man advantage going in for Zygnus. The pressure is on, and Vitali's actually able to take him out right there. That's going to be huge. 8 kills on the board for him. Swag has not been able to find the flow state so far today, yet to pick up a kill, which is not something we typically see from him in Search and Destroy, but he does see Forsaken on the inside of American, trying to land a pick right here, does manage to get his first kill of the game, and with only 1 player remaining, Cortez would like to be able to at least get a kill right here. Swag gets the hit marker, Vitali cleans it up, and Nova Imperium bounces back to get their second round win of the game.
It would be really nice to see Nova push this all the way to the end and push us into a game 3, specifically for just, again, seeing these two teams face off and respawn and see if it's just hardpoint that Zygnus is good at, or if they're going to rock in Domination as well. I mean, they're not doing bad here in Search and Destroy. Obviously, they have the lead. They're finding picks left and right, but man, Vitali over here on the side of Nova doing phenomenal. Swag maybe finding his groove a little bit here, picks up another kill onto Cortez. That is really, really key for the team. High then finds Forsaken as well. 2 remaining members of Zygnus. S-Thug is going to get the kill onto Wally, making things slightly more manageable, but for Loyal to now be in a 1 versus 4 situation, not the most ideal place to be in, but absolutely possible. He does have the Arc 50. He finds a bye-bye. It puts 4 kills on the board for him. His position clearly revealed by that shot, making the rotation over. And Swag, finding his groove, finds the kill as well as he crosses just through the doorway for a split second.
Yeah, that round was all High and Swag, which is honestly a really, really good sign for this Nova Imperium team. Both of them were, I think they were at 1 and 2 kills respectively leading up to that round. So for them to combine for 5 right there is a really, really good sign, especially with that allowing them to tie things up. We do actually see a very aggressive B-side push right here. Swag with the fully automatic Locust. I believe that was a spectator glitch, but he's going to be able to take out Bear right there. That gives a man advantage to Nova Imperium once again and starting to look more and more like they are in control of this game. Forsaken with AK-117 in hand, Loyal with a shotgun, which we don't see a whole lot, but if he's able to close the gap, which is going to be difficult without a smoke in hand, we'll see if he can find a pick right here. Just trying to play the tight angles. Loyal, obviously, with the bomb in hand, and one of the top players for Zygnus in their games on Tuesday. Anything's possible right now, but if you are Zygnus, you would love to find a pick right here, and with no snipers in play, definitely going to be tough to find, especially in the mid to A side. That is going to force them to push down onto B site. We'll see if Nova Imperium has any type of angle. Swag was looking at that B site, and Wally actually perfectly looking over top of Bomb. He's going to see if he can find Loyal right here, but he's not going to be able to do it. Watches them slide to the side. That's going to force them to push in. And with 3 snipers in hand, this is not an easy push for Nova Imperium. High's making the push in right here. Swag on the backside. Loyal is going to actually take out High right there. He's got the shotgun, but Swag cleans things up. Forsaken's going to drop to Wally. Perfectly timed shot. And just like that, Nova Imperium bouncing back. That will allow them to take the 4-3 lead.
It was starting to look doable for the side of Zygnus there, but as you mentioned, the whole side of Nova just really picking up the pace here, getting their groove on in Search and Destroy. They take the lead, which is much better than you can say about the hardpoint round at the 250 to, I believe it was 49 mark. So much, much better rotations here, more players winning the gunfights that they need. High, somehow alive with 1 HP, not really sure, but he's going to live, and that life is going to allow him to pick up the kill onto Bear, making things a little bit more evened out as they did trade out for Swag. Now, looks like we may get a bomb plant coming out of Zygnus here. Going to force Nova to play against the clock a little bit, but High almost able to find the kill as the player slides out. I didn't see quite who it was. Finds a hit marker through the wall. Not quite going to be enough to get the kill onto S-Thug. Loyal dangerously low inside of the trailer. High going to find the kill onto S-Thug as well. And this is looking pretty solid for Nova. But as I say that, Zygnus comes through with a couple kills. Rough time for High to have the pistol out. And that might have just cost them here, but
Oh, what a shot by High! He tries to turn onto Forsaken inside a trailer. He knows where he is. Can't make the no-scope happen. Forsaken, oh my gosh. I mean, I would have loved to see for High to clutch that right there. But to be honest, he missed every single pistol shot that he took. And when that happens, it's just going to be tough to get the clutch. That allows Zygnus to tie things up right here. And looking very much like we could be going to a round 11 early on in Thursday's Mobile Mayhem action. Lots of snipers in play for this Nova Imperium team. Wally, High, Swag, all rocking the Locust right now. S-Thug with the only sniper in play for Zygnus. We'll see if he can make the Arctic 50 count right here. Lots to go up against. High and Swag, both unable to get him. And they're actually able to land the shots. His leg was exposed on the backside. That's going to prevent him from getting the plant. Bear's going to go for it right here. I don't think Swag has an angle, and that will allow the plant to go down. But obviously, with one pick for each team, and still lots of sniper game in action for Nova Imperium, the picks should be relatively easy, assuming they're hitting their shots. High's able to get one right there. Swag's going to slide in. He's able to get the pistol kill right there. It's all up to Cortez, and with 4 players on the site, I don't think he stands much of a chance right there. Just trying to play for the frag. It doesn't even matter. Bye-bye's going to take him out, and Nova Imperium is going to retake the lead at 5-4.
Yeah, and again, I'd love to see Nova Imperium here pick up the win to push us to a Game 3. I'd love to see these two teams face off head-to-head in Domination. And again, a lot of it is just to see if Nova just really needed the warm-up here or not, because this is a team that you expect to do well. One of their biggest hindrances in Season 4 was honestly themselves, not taking opponents seriously, and they lost a lot of games because of that. We fortunately have not seen too much of that here in Season 5 from them. So, you know, Vitaly, 10 kills on the board. High as well, 10 kills on the board. Really turned things around considering how much High underperformed in the hardpoint game and at the beginning of this search and destroy game as well. So, took a couple rounds for him to get a couple kills on the, or for to get any kills on the board. Oh.
S-Thug threw the smoke onto Swag. 50% luck, 50% skill. Vitaly's actually on site. I think he could potentially get the defuse right here. He's going to get 2 frags right there. That's going to take out one player. Bear's going to finally be able to take him out on the backside, but Bear's going to be the only player left. There's 3 players on site for Nova Imperium. They could very easily close this one out. High's going to be able to land the snipe right there. Perfect execution for them in round number 10, and just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be going to game number 3.
Yep, that's going to be a domination game ahead of us, and again, this is kind of what we were hoping for. We specifically, again, just don't want to see Nova underperforming and unable to find their groove. It took them a little bit there, even in Search and Destroy, but again, this is where we expect this team to excel. Vitaly and High each ending with 12 kills apiece. Swag as well, unable to find a kills for several rounds. I think it wasn't until like the 3rd or 4th round that Swag found a kill and was able to consistently get a pick in almost every round after that. So took a little bit of time to get here, but we are going into Domination, which will be on Standoff. So definitely a well-known map for all of these players. It was a pretty common map to see in Season 4, as well as moving into Season 5 here. We'll likely see it quite a bit, specifically on the Search and Destroy and Domination.
And I mean, honestly, that just goes to show you how much the game mode and the map can be a determining factor for these teams and whether or not they're able to pull through with the win. It wasn't just like Nova Imperium got doubled up on in hardpoint. Zygnus finished with 5 times as many points as they did. It was 250 to 49. So for Nova Imperium to be able to bounce back and get the win in Search and Destroy, definitely going to be big for their momentum, but also just a sign of how good this team is in Search and Destroy. Not too surprising to anybody that's been watching Mobile Mayhem for a while. Just a lot of fragging power, especially on the sniper end of things between High, Wally, and Swag. They're really able to heat things up toward the end and find the frags when they needed to, and definitely going to make for an interesting game number 5. It says, let's see. I actually cannot check the map on my... Actually, I can. I can just look at the best of 3 map. Summit Domination is going to be game number 3, and this is one that is...
Standoff Domination?
Oh, yeah. The best of 3 map is wrong. Okay. Yep, you're probably right. Standoff Domination. Always an interesting one as well, so... We'll see which of the teams, whether it's the respawn heavy Zygnus or the team with the momentum, Nova Imperium, able to take away game number 3.
I don't know if we talked about it too much, but the weapon bans for this series, guys, is the DRH and the Man of War. So I just wanted to make sure that was out there. While we do have a little bit of downtime, since I see a couple players that perhaps missed some of our earlier games, we'll go ahead and run down the bans for the rules for season 5, just because so much is different. All gun skins essentially are allowed, common through legendary. Operators, the transform shield, the hive, and the ballistic shield are all completely banned, and you can only have 1 unique operator per team, so no teams running 6 annihilators. As far as actual weapon bans, the only gun that we have banned is the NA-45 because cheat mode enabled. Lethals, we have trip mines, molotovs, and thermites banned, so definitely expect to be seeing more frag kills. Still waiting for someone to pick up the tomahawk kill, but we will wait for that later.
Bolu, I appreciate the raid,
streaks,
my guy.
UAV,
Can we get some raid hype in chat?
Care package and hunter killer are all banned. And then the drone RC car is a limit of 2 per team. Attachment restrictions is the akimbo attachment, or for anything that offers akimbo. Banned perks is persistence and tracker. There are no banned character skins. And then the game modes have actually changed up a little bit as well. So if you were here today and missed some of the other ones, you might have already seen that hardpoint is now to 250 with a 600 time limit. Domination is 100 per round with a 300 time limit. So going to 200 instead of 150 now. And that's really where a lot of the persistence changes are going to take effect, is in Domination is where we saw a lot of teams forego points in the first half and really just try to rack up the score streaks to triple cap in round 2. Search and Destroy, for the most part, remains unchanged with a score limit of 6. Our hardpoint maps are Hackney Yard, Scrapyard, Standoff, Raid, Summit, and Crash. Our Domination maps are Hackney Yard, Summit, Standoff, Raid, and Firing Range. And our Search and Destroy maps are Standoff, Raid, Meltdown, Firing Range, and Crossfire.
Yep, looks like we got all of our players.
I know it's a lot to go through, but we're early in the season. I see people asking, so.
Yep. Yeah, we got all of our players loaded in. We are good to go for our final game of the series. Should definitely be a good one right here, as we do have, obviously, a pretty easy A and C caps. Not really much of a chance of either team getting knocked off there. Quite a few HVKs and ASM 10s in play right now. Those have definitely been 2 of the meta guns, especially for when the Man of War and DRH bans are in play. Bye-bye trying to find the frag onto Zygnus on the inside of blue. Not going to be able to spot Loyal yet. Gets one shot in on the way to cross into Delhi and does manage to get the kill from behind, but Zygnus filling up the feed right now. It's actually going to be a pretty early B cap coming in for Nova Imperium, despite the frags going in for Zygnus, and that's definitely big for them off the start. Bye-bye is going to get a frag over on the A side. S-Thug able to turn on him, and 5 kills on the board for him off the start, despite the early B cap going in for Nova Imperium.
Yeah, absolutely. And racking up the points here early is, again, a lot more important here in Season 5 because you're not going to roll into the second half of the game with a bunch of VTOLs and Goliaths unless if you raw earned them. And at that point, if you raw earned them without persistence, your team is probably already winning anyway, so you have a very high likelihood of a sizable lead. We do have the B cap just a hair away from a cap for the side of Zygnus, but Nova will maintain in control of that for a couple more seconds. The cap does finally go over, and this is a really big map for some of the middle of the road score streaks that we've seen in the past. The Predator Missile and the Cluster Strike absolutely rip apart B in this map. There's really just nowhere to hide, so if you are able to get those Cluster Strikes online, that can be honestly like a 10 to 15 second cushion that your team just has where the enemy can absolutely not push on to the B flag. We have the gap narrowing a little bit here. Only about 8 points separate these teams right now. The lead is still in favor of Nova, but unless if they're able to flip things around here and present themselves a little bit more in the feed, then this very likely is going to be a lead going on over to the side of Zygnus. Once again, S-Thug performing exceptional, 13 kills on the board. They're struggling a little bit, however, this game after dropping, I think, what, a 32 kill game in hardpoint on Scrapyard. So definitely could be a little bit of a struggle for the side of Zygnus if a couple of these players aren't able to step it up. Cortez down at 2, Bear down at 4, getting 5. But it hasn't hindered them too much right now. It's Bye has 4, High is sitting down at 5, and then Vitali and Wally as well, 4 and 5. So they are able to get an A and C cap in the favor of Nova, so they'll have their lead, but at what cost at this point? They have a 2-point lead. A is going to go back over to the side of Zygnus, and that's going to be essentially a tie game right now.
Yeah, and we got 3 double-digit players for Zygnus right now, so even though we do have Cortez and Bear struggling a good bit, S-Thug, Loyal, and Forsaken all cooking right now, and we're starting to see some of those operators start to circulate a little bit more. We're also going to see the score streaks on the way in. Obviously, the cluster strike on the way in for Loyal is going to be massive, and that's going to keep the B flag clear as well as opening up an opportunity to potentially capture the C flag. It is going to get eliminated just seconds away from capture, but it does look like, despite that, Zygnus is going to be able to close out this round with the win. The B flag now ticking downward, and S-Thug making his way on over to the B flag to try to tick it a little more. It does look like they should be able to remain in control. We do see some big frags coming in from High, but still only 2 players in double digits for this Nova Imperium team, and just too much firepower over on the side of Zygnus coming from S-Thug and Loyal.
And so far has been the case. Swag actually jumps the corner, gets the kill onto S-Thug there, and we do have a couple more kills coming through for the side of Zygnus. They've been really heavily in control of the feed. Forsaken 14 kills on the board, S-Thug 16, Loyal 19. So really helping the team out there. It's actually still absolutely well within reach of Nova to turn this thing around. We do now have 4 players on the side of Nova crossing into double digits, with Bye and High having 10, Wally coming on up to 11, and only 20 points separate these two teams right now. So still anybody's game, especially if we can get some score streaks online. I do see that we have quite a few high score streaks on the side of Nova. Looking at Cluster Strike Goliaths, got some Sentry turrets, but mostly Goliath, and Wally does have his Goliath, so that is a potential B cap for Nova if they're able to get it out.
For a second, I thought S-Thug was going to pull out like the 3 or 4 piece, just cross-mapping everyone. He does get taken out right there, but it is Zygnus coming away with the B cap. The Goliath is going to get called in right here, but Loyal, got to keep in mind, he's got a Sparrow in hand. High getting the frag right there is going to be huge for them. That is going to preserve the Goliath for the time being. Wally at full health, marching his way on over to the B flag. If they can get trophy systems down, that's going to be huge, and has not yet taken 1 HP worth of damage. They are able to get the B flag, and things starting to look a little bit more manageable for this Nova Imperium team. If Wally's able to get up into the top, what? Maybe the FHJ does more damage than I thought, because he just went from 700 health to 0. But that is big time value coming in for Zygnus, and that should open things up once again for them to go on over to the B flag. They get some time in right there. Not enough to get the cap, but with the change to Domination a few seasons ago, that does allow you to move more incrementally. Cortez finally starting to heat up. He's got 13 kills on the board. Gonna get taken out by the grab spikes from Bye-Bye. And we do see more consistency across the board for this Nova Imperium team. But the top fraggers for Zygnus really showing out right now. And that is going to be what allows them to go ahead and retake that B flag.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you mentioned, you know, the FHJ making good work of the Goliath there. Another tool that teams can really use to their favor as well up against Goliaths is the Tempest, which we do see high running. That will immobilize a Goliath, and I believe that's 3 shots to take a Goliath down. Not sure what Wally was aiming for there with the Pred missile, but just straight hit the roof.
Forsaken is currently just frying all of Nova Imperium. He's about to be on a cluster strike right now. He is not missing a single shot. He gets a triple right there with the Pred missile. He's got a cluster strike on deck. Doesn't even matter if he dies, but it doesn't matter. He kills Swag there anyway. I'm not exaggerating when I'm saying this man is literally not missing a shot. He is cooking the entire team. 28 kills on the board. Wasn't even in the mentions for the top frag, and I believe in the time that I was spectating him, I think he got at least 10 kills right there. This man showing that even with the transition to phone, he absolutely deserves to be in the discussion for the MVP. And right now, Zygnus looking like they are very, very well on their way to a win in game number 3.
Yeah, it certainly does look to be the case. I mean, Forsaken definitely showing us right now exactly why he is a 2-time season MVP for Mobile Mayhem. At least if I remember correctly, I think he was season 3 and season 4 MVP, so that is absolutely huge for him to start off the season so strong. Tied with S-Thug at 30 kills on the board right now. Loyal not far behind.
He just passed him.
Loyal, pretty.
Or no, they're all tied at 30 together.
90 kills between these 3 players.
Oh my gosh, this is insane. These guys are frying. They get the triple cap to finish the game. 30 for S-Thug, 30 for Forsaken, 30 for Loyal. The cluster strike goes in. Absolute dominance to finish that game for Zygnus, and they will take game 3 to take the 10 points for today's matchup.
Yeah, and you really do have to give Nova credit here as well. Like, Zygnus played their A game all through hardpoint. They put up a really good fight in Search and Destroy where Nova were able to take the lead. And then Nova, once again, put up a really good fight here towards the end. This was nowhere near as one-sided, at least for a majority of the game, as the hardpoint matchup was. I mean, they were only about 50 points behind here in Domination. They were 200 points down in hardpoint. So shy of that second half where Forsaken and Loyal and S-Thug just absolutely cracked some skulls wide open. This was a very, very close matchup between these two teams. I'd definitely be excited to see these two teams face off head-to-head again, especially since so far, looking at Nova Imperium from the beginning of this season up until now, they have done better and better with each game. So definitely expect to see them still be a top contender as the season moves on.
Yeah, to have 3 players with 30-plus kills and less than 20 deaths, definitely a really good sign for Zygnus, as we see Forsaken, Loyal, and S-Thug all at the top of the scoreboard. And every single one of those players absolutely put on a show, not only just in the final game, but throughout this series. Definitely excited to watch how both of these teams move forward. Obviously, a lot of previous iPad players for both teams, seeming to not have too much issue making the transition. And you can see just so much talent between all of these teams. That is going to be it for game. That's crazy. That was only game number 1.
That was a great way to start off the day, though.
It was a great way to start off. And Coming up next, we do have 11T versus Nova Invictus coming up. Definitely going to be another great matchup. And obviously, 11T, one of the newer teams to Mobile Mayhem, but most of the players on the team not too new to the competitive scene. Nova Invictus, been around for a while, picked up a couple solid players. They seemed really good in their Thursday matchup, but struggled a lot in their Tuesday matchup. So we're going to see whether or not they're going to be able to bounce back. Following that, we will have Tribe versus Strike Zone and NL Esports versus Trovo Mayhem. So to be honest, I really thought the final 3 games were going to be our best matchups of the night. So for match number 1 to be that close and that tight throughout the entirety of it definitely shows we're going to have a great night of gameplay for you guys.
Yeah, I think this season definitely brings a lot of excitement. I know there was kind of some skeptical things around the content creator team, but I mean, if you look at their matchups that they've had so far, I mean, they definitely haven't faced off against top teams in the league. So I think today's matchup for them will be an exceptional view on just how well they're going to do up against NL Esports, as well as then seeing them in the future go up against Nova Imperium as they get a little bit more comfortable, as well as the Zygnus lineup, which has so far just looked absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I've got a feeling there's going to be a lot of really good teams to contend with, like you said. No disrespect to Strike Zone or Exile, but obviously a lot of iPad players or just players that struggled last season between those two teams, and probably not a great barometer for what this Trovo Mayhem team is going to be able to do. Not saying it's a bad team at all, but a lot of people thinking that they're going to have just a ridiculous advantage with a couple players playing on iPad, and I definitely think there's a number of players and teams in this Mobile Mayhem competition that could absolutely give them a run for their money, if not just straight up beat them. And I think NL is going to be a great test of that tonight, as they have been one of the longest standing phone teams. Obviously, not everybody on phone for the entire time that they've been together, but they have definitely been the most, well, one of the most, if not the most consistent team throughout of all of the history of Mobile Mayhem.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And this 11T roster, despite, I believe, being undefeated technically so far, they did struggle in their first matchup up against Tribe in the actual fights. They had a phenomenal performance, however, on our Tuesday games. So I'm definitely excited to see them going up against Nova Invictus here. Nova Invictus is a team that a lot of the players said was doing really phenomenal in the scrims, and we expected them to do well because, again, this has been a phone team all through a lot of the history of Mobile Mayhem, at least recent history, due to their placement in the Champs series. So definitely excited to see these two teams face off. I believe this will be a pretty good bar to set between the two of them.
Take with the host. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Too much really come out of Invictus yet, but individually they have absolutely shown that they have the gun skill, and I think it's really going to boil down to a lot for them, just the rotations as a team. I mean, Saxy, a phenomenal player. We've seen Lewis and Band individually do exceptional as well. It's just more of a getting the whole team to perform at that level issue for them right now.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch Wiru from 11D play. He made some really big plays, especially in Search and Destroy. He was really good for them in Hardpoint as well. It was definitely the reason they were able to get the 2-0 win. We saw things go down to the wire between them and Nova Imperium on Tuesday, but I think 14 or 15 kills from him, definitely the reason that 11T was able to come out on top. And obviously, a lot of these 11D players are formerly from NL, so kind of players going back and forth between the two teams. Parka, previously a content creator for NL as well, and definitely a fantastic player as well as a fantastic content creator, usually previously on NL. Zai and Wiru being the two really new players to the team, and definitely seeming like they have meshed very well so far. Parka, I do appreciate the raid. If we can get some raid hype in chat, I would appreciate it. We do have all of our players loaded up, and we should be good to go once we get all of our screenshots submitted, and we should be good to go for matchup number 2.
Yeah, definitely should be a good one. Usually definitely going to be a player on the side of 11T to watch here because, well, while not being typically the top fragger or the MVP back in his time on NL, he was always a consistent player that the team could really perform around. And I think that can be just as strong of a trait to have as being a player that drops or being the 3 players that drop 30 plus kills in a game. So consistency really can boil down to a lot. Looking at Zygnus, yes, we've seen them have a big performance so far, but that's not always going to be the case. I mean, we may see days where Zygnus comes through and they don't look like they're competing at the top, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. So having a player like Yuji and Zai on the team that are just always consistently good, I think that's actually a really strong suit for 11T to have. Wiru, as you mentioned, is obviously a player that we want to keep an eye out for, who's done exceptional on this team so far. But I think with just, again, the consistency that this lineup has, I think even when when Wiru does struggle, there's enough consistent talent on this team where this is going to be a team to compete with at all stages of this tournament.
Yep, and do appreciate the raid from Parka. Always appreciated. Honestly, the Spanish-speaking viewers always some of the most loyal in the competitive scene, and honestly, just across all of esports. I don't know how much you guys keep track of like Twitch viewership and everything, but there was actually a Spanish-speaking, I believe, Fortnite streamer that hit 2.5 million concurrent viewers, which just destroyed every record. I think it was GREFG is his name, but just amazing to see the loyalty from this community, and really do appreciate the viewership throughout all of Mobile Mayhem. It does look like we got all but 1 player readied up. Once we get that player ready to go, we should be good to go for game number 1. It is going to be a hardpoint on Standoff. Definitely a classic hardpoint map. Oh, we were so close. Admins missed the ready button, and Wiru unreadied just in time. But once he... Oh, there we go. Go, 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 go. B. Zim. Okay, you know what?
They may be waiting on screenshots still. The players are ready, but they may still be verifying. Because, again, we do want this to be the most fair and even playing ground for these teams. So some players have unfortunately struggled with the screenshots thing so far just because it's new. And sometimes, again, when you're out there playing, sometimes it's hard to just remember, at least when something is new. And again, a lot of this I think will go a lot smoother as the season goes on. So bear with us a little bit here, team. It's actually been going increasingly better. I mean, even just getting into the lobbies. So this should be a pretty fun season ahead of us. And hopefully we'll be getting into this game here pretty soon.
Yeah, looks like probably just a second while we wait on the final screenshots, and then we should be good to go. I'm not sure if our ban... Let's see. I think this should be correct, actually. So, the actual map picks and bans, we do have Standoff Hardpoint for game number 1, 11T banning Search and Destroy on Firing Range, Nova Invictus banning Hardpoint on Crash. Meltdown Search and Destroy is going to be game number 2. Game number 3, if we do end up going to it, is going to be Summit Domination, the 2 weapon bans. 11T banning the ASM-10, Nova Invictus banning the Arctic 50, which I'm honestly a little bit surprised that we haven't seen more prior to this time. The Arctic 50 feeling like one of the more dominant weapons in all of Mobile Mayhem, and not too surprised to finally see somebody banning it right there. But we do have all of our players loaded in, which means we are good to go for the start of match number 2.
Yeah, and it definitely should be an exciting one, assuming we get everybody to load in on the side of 11T here. There it is. Everybody's loaded in. getting ready to get into this game. And again, this is really a good bar to set for Nova because, again, 11 they may have struggled in the first week up against Tribe, but Tribe have been looking absolutely dominant. 11 had some really good games here on Tuesday, though. So if Nova were going to show up, this would be a good team to show up against. Lewis going to find the first blood, picks up a kill onto Zai. We do see Saxy getting set up on the head glitch here by the tractor. And so far it has been quite a few kills actually going in favor of Nova. Weru, as expected, performing well for the team. 3 kills on the board for him early on is really big. But so far, control is in favor of 11T on point.
Yep,
man. Saxy is holding a good anchor spot over here for hardpoint 2, though. So that is something to keep in mind as we are going to see that in about 15 or so seconds on some of these respawns. It is really important to anchor these respawns on hardpoint specifically.
Yep, Band making some big plays on the hill. 5 kills, make it 6 kills. Oh my gosh. This man already has a Goliath, a Pred missile, and a Shock RC. That is a really solid start for Nova Imperium. Pushing up, trying to get the Shock RC kill, actually turns his back at the worst possible time. Not only does he not get the kill, he actually gets killed by the person that he Shock RC'd. So that's going to open things up for this 11D team. Just is going to get the frag right there. Even though the hill is in control of Nova Invictus, pretty good pressure being applied, just demolishing everybody in his way right now. The Shock RC is going to go down for him, and with everybody from Nova Invictus over on gas station side, that should open things up, especially with Weird trying to take out the sentry gun right there. The trophy system making things difficult. That's actually going to allow Band to get kill number 9 on the board. He's still got his Goliath to play with right now. Parka not going to be able to round the corner. And Nova Invictus looking really, really strong off the start.
Yeah, they absolutely have. Band 11 kills on the board. Saxy actually struggling down at 2 right now. Definitely not where we would expect Saxy to perform. Zai getting 2nd kill on the board. Yuji and Weru 5 kills apiece. So even the top 2 fraggers on the side of 11T right now, not even able to contest the single player on Nova in Band, who's found his 13th kill. So right now, about a 50-point lead in favor of Nova. And again, if this is the match that they were going to show up in, this would have been an important one to do so. So I'm glad Nova are showing signs of life here with a strong start to hardpoint. They were able to get another good anchor and have the 2-story at Grandma's over here locked down and ready to go. You have Yuji and Saxy about to run into each other. Yuji's going to find the better of that gunfight. A couple kills going in favor of 11 might give them an opportunity to start making their way in. But Lewis picks up a couple kills there. Wesley and Parrish pick up a couple kills as well. So Nova will maintain control of that hardpoint as well. And man, they have netted themselves moving on a 90-something point lead going into P4.
Yeah, this is a fantastic start for them. Obviously, Band on the inside of Goliath with 700 HP. A pretty good sign for them as well. It is 11 with control of P3, or make it P4, as we do see both teams trying to make the rotation on over there. Band looking to make his way in. Probably not going to be too easy, especially with that Tempest slowing him down right there. Zai's going to be able to land another shot, freezing it again. The Goliath is destroyed. Perfect usage of that. Parrish is going to stay alive. A couple missed shots from Zai. Truly unfortunate as the Annihilator comes out. It's going to be another frag going in for Nova Invictus, but 11 still in control for the time being, and with Parka with a Tempest, or make it a Sparrow in hand, it looks like they'll be able to oh no! Nova is able to push in and get the break. Zai does get the frag over on the side. Westy's going to drop as well. Only 1 player, or make it 2 on the point right here. Lewis is going to be able to get the frag, usually trying to make the push from the other side. He's able to do it. A little bit of scrap time going in for 11D, but honestly a little bit late for them to be making that type of a push, and it looks like it is going to be Nova Invictus already set up for P1.
Yeah, it does look like they are trying to do so. Saxy has done a great job at most parts of this game as he actually picks up a double kill there, specifically in finding those anchors. So definitely keep an eye on that because, again, that's so important here in Hardpoint. And one of the key things for 11T in finding the time that they were able to get on P4 was that they were able to get the pick onto Saxy in the back of the next anchor, and that gave them a lot of respawn control. Saxy picking up another onto Zai there, but is going to get dropped by Yuji. Again, one of those players you absolutely expect to be consistent. And this is exactly what I was talking about at the beginning. Zai and Yuji, 13 and 14 kills respectively. So even when Weru, who's typically been the top fragger for 11T, is struggling, you do always kind of have these two anchors to fall back on as far as skill goes. So glad to see Zai and Yuji making me not a liar.
Yep. And the thing that I love about Mobile Mayhem making the switch to 250 point hardpoint instead of 150 is it really decreases the odds of an upset or a team that maybe shouldn't have won getting the win. You can see 11D really struggled off the start. They were down 80 points, and just like that, they've already bounced back to close it to, what is this, a 16-point lead right now. And this really does allow for teams who struggle off the start, maybe not having as much momentum off the initial part of the game, to bounce back. We do see Nova Invictus taking control of the hard point, but 11T is cooking right now. Zai could very well make the push in and get the break onto the hill. We do have Saxy up on the top side. Trophy system is going to go down, and Zai would love to get this frag. It's not going to happen right here, but the contest still going in. It is going to be Nova Invictus building a little bit on this 20-point lead, but looking like 11T could potentially set up well. And just like that, Nova Invictus is actually going to be the team taking control of P3.
Yeah, Nova Invictus doing a great job here. And one thing I do really want to point out, because it's something that we don't see incredibly often, but I think with the state of shotguns where they're at, Yuji has the MP7 out. And on a map like Standoff, which is a lot of close ranged angles, where again the shotguns normally would have prevailed on this map, it's something that we've seen historically in the past from Mobile Mayhem. The MP7 fire rate and damage is really good for finding these corners, shy of getting domed by an Annihilator. So I definitely expect or would like to see more players on some of these teams moving on into having one or two players on a submachine gun roll, whether it be the MP7. I know the Cordite is in a rough spot, but a gun that we've seen used quite a bit in the past as well. And they perform quite a bit better in these close range scenarios. So we've seen Yuji make good use of it. 17 kills on the board for him. Zai with 18, Parka with 17 as well. The Nova are just in the lead as far as kills go, with Parrish at 24. Band was popping off early, 23 on the board for him, and a 19 for Saxy and Lewis as well, as they maintain just shy of a 100-point lead right now.
Yeah, Nova Invictus was able to get pretty much close to max time on P3 right there, but you can see 11D set up really well and will likely be able to regain a lot of the lost time right there. Obviously, the smoke's going out. Nova Invictus would like to be able to make the push in, but with a Tempest in the hands of Zai, not going to be easy for them to do. Parrish would like to be able to push through. He's not going to be able to do it. Immediately shut down. Westy, the only really struggling player for Nova Invictus, does get shut down by the Tempest as well. Right now, Zai holding this hardpoint down all by himself. Lewis, Band, all trying to make the pushes in, and the Tempest showing itself to be one of the more underrated operators in the game. Not only the amount of shots that it has, but also the duration on it. Very, very valuable to a lot of these players with really, really good accuracy, and because of that, we do see this 11T team closing a lot of this gap. The battle for P1 will begin right now, with Zai being pretty much the only person holding down P4 right there. That's going to really open things up and allow his teammates to make that rotation back to P1. And right now, we see 11T in a perfect spot to continue to close this gap.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And there's plenty of opportunity for either one of these teams to pull out the win here. There's only about 30 points that separate these teams, and right now 11T have point control and can take the lead off of this one. Westy was looking for Yuji to make that jump over there, but Yuji did get on away. FHJ, I am starting to think the cryo kills are a bug. I'm starting to think that's a bug because Yuji, I think, actually killed himself with the FHJ to take down the Goliath there, and it said that the other player got a cryo kill, which last I checked, not possible while in a Goliath.
Yeah, that does seem pretty unlikely. We do have Ban getting knocked off the hill, but right now, Nova Invictus is set up really well on P2. Yuji looking to make the push in. He does have Westy on the top side, but Westy has struggled a good bit. He's actually going to drop off right there, and Yuji, one of the longest-standing Mobile Mayhem players, time and time again, showing up for his team, able to get the push in right there. 11T holding down the hill right now. This has been an absolute beauty of a hardpoint game to watch. The smoke's perfectly placed, but the gravity spikes from Yuji perfectly timed. Sexy's going to drop off right there. 11D remains in control. Westy would love to be able to make the push in. He's not going to be able to do it. Yuji's going to find another kill. He's got a Pred missile in his hands. Not only that, he's also only 137 points away from getting a Goliath. He would love to get a few additional points right here. And you can see Nova Invictus staying inside, but that's honestly not a bad thing from Yuji. That makes the hold that much easier. You can see Nova Invictus already set up on P3 right here, but the pursuit coming in hot for this 11D team. Yuji trying to make the push in. He's going to land shots on the band, but he can't get the kill. That means he can't get the Goliath. That could spark disaster for an 11D team who's only 6 points away, but not very close to having control of the hardpoint.
Yeah, this has been an exciting game between these two teams. Players stepping it up across the board. Yuji 30 kills, Zai 27, just 27.
Oh,
what a drop shot by Westy!
Westy with the huge plays, Sexy with the huge plays. Players on the point for Nova Invictus. I don't know if they're going to be able to push in. Parrish with a perfectly timed double kill. Two players trying to push in for 11D. I don't think they're going to be able to close this one out right here in the 6-point game. Very much, I mean, Sexy. The two shots that he was able to land right there to get the double kill at the end probably saved the game for Nova Invictus. Parrish, Band, and Lewis fragging out right there, and they will take the win in game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think Band's kill on Yuji was absolutely key there. Band was very injured. Yuji made the aggressive push and trying to finish off the kill. But Band, because he was sitting there waiting for Yuji to come through the door, or whoever it may have been to come through the door, was able to find a couple shots before the targeting reticle was able to get centered on. And a Goliath moving into that last point would have been absolutely huge for 11T in their comeback, because that game was very much so early on looking in favor of Nova Invictus, and then things started to spiral a little out of control for them, but they were able to get together at the end, and again, 6-point difference between these two teams. And this is exactly why I was saying right at the beginning, I think these two teams are actually pretty evenly matched in the upper echelon of things. We just kind of need to see the consistency locked together for them. And, you know, I think both these teams did great. Parrish, 38 kills on the board, really leading the way for his team. Band started that off really crazy, and I think that gave them a lot of advantage in the early game. But again, the consistency that 11T have in Yuji and Zai is an incredibly powerful tool. Yuji 31 kills on the board, Zai 27, Justin, Wiru, and Parka all as well in 20 kills. So phenomenal game between these two teams. Definitely excited to see Search and Destroy and Meltdown come out of these guys.
Yeah, this is going to be an absolute beauty. That one, honestly, that was probably my favorite game of Hardpoint so far this season. We've seen a lot of the Hardpoint games just be really runaway, and to have that one come down to the last 6 points is definitely a blast to watch. Parrish, who's a player that we talked about, especially on Thursday, as being one of the breakout players for Nova Invictus, kind of struggled a little bit on Tuesday's games, but definitely showing out for them as he was able to muster 38 kills against an 11D team that has shown themselves to be really, really solid all around. Definitely going to be a great Search and Destroy, and to be honest, even if the stream goes a little bit late, I would not be opposed to having 4 game 3s tonight just because we have so many good matchups. We'll see what these teams have to bring when it comes to Search and Destroy. Obviously, we will be on Meltdown. If I had to guess, probably usually pulling out the sniper for 11T. Not any one player on that roster that is really sticking out in my mind as a dedicated sniper. We've seen Sexy snipe
Yuji or Zai, I would think.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. Zai actually sniped for them on Tuesday against Nova Imperium, now that I think about it. So that is probably correct. And then for this Nova team, honestly, I have no idea. I know Sexy used to be a shotgunner, and a lot of times we do see shotgunners having an easy time making their transition over to the sniper role just because it is so much about crosshair alignment and everything else. So we'll see if that's something that we see. Right now, just waiting for players to get their screenshots submitted and readied up so we can hop into game number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to remember on Nova Invictus if we did have anybody standing out with a sniper. I mean, I know you mentioned usually the shotgunner would make that switch, but yeah, just none of these players off the top of my head sticking off as the primary sniper. So this, with how close that first matchup, definitely could be, where we really see this team take form on who's going to do what. So Saxy in that last game, obviously going to be one of the players to watch for making those anchor rotations on hardpoint in the future. So definitely excited about that one. But yeah, it's been an incredibly even game so far. I mean, both of our matchups so far today have been phenomenal. Both our matchup with Imperium versus Zygnus, as well as 11T versus Nova Invictus, started off really strong here. And I absolutely could see this going into a game 3.
Yeah, and it would definitely make for a great one as well. Obviously, lots of new players on both teams, and both of these teams would like to really assert themselves as one of the top teams in Mobile Mayhem. Taking a look at the standings real quick, Nova Invictus at 20 points. 11T also at 20 points. So these two teams are currently tied in Division 1, and whoever comes away with the win will be able to move solidly into 3rd place. So if Nova Imperium's able to get the 2-0 win, that would actually allow them to tie with NL and Mobile, or Trovo Mayhem, and that would officially allow them to be able to tie coming out of the end of today, as obviously NL and Trovo Mayhem are going up against each other, and one of those teams will be coming away with 0 points. So we'll have to see which of those that is going to be, but it does look like we got all of our players readied up, which means we should be good to go to hop in to Search and Destroy on Meltdown.
And this should be a good one for these two teams. Obviously, we mentioned definitely be keeping an eye out for either Yuji or Zai or both to be rocking the sniper rifles. But I really like, so I hated Meltdown all through my COD career playing it, because it's not super fun to play in my opinion, but it's super fun to watch because it does offer two very different game styles as far as we've talked about it quite a bit in the past, Bobby. Going down the B side quite often plays favor to whichever team favors range, and A is going to be the side for looking at some of that close range gunfight, which from our first map, again, the MP7, we see Yuji has it out once again. That is actually such an incredibly strong gun. The recoil is so easy to control. The speed of the fire rate is just works really well with the control. It does, however, at a range hinder in bullet damage. So again, that is one thing to consider, as we do have Nova cleaning things out with a I believe they only lost one player in that first round, so they will take that first point. And honestly, I definitely expect this to be a close matchup down to the wire as things go on. And potentially could, again, go to a game 3, which would be looking at Domination Summit. But it looks like another very aggressive A push, A push coming out of Nova here. Band picking up the double kill, finds Yuji and Parka. This is very likely going to be round 2 going over to the side of Nova.
And just with that happening, it's actually we're able to find a big kill right there. Just is going to be able to find Parrish. Nade going in. through that mid area, but Trophy Systems going down. 3 players remain for each team. The pressure is on for this 11D team, but Zai's going to find the shot onto Ban. That's going to be huge. Shots going through. Saxy trying to slow down the push from 11D. Shots continue to go through for Weru. Somehow nobody getting hit right there, and Weru's now all by himself. Only 13 seconds to work with. He's going to need a big double kill. Lewis taking shots. It's a risky move for him and probably not the right one. Weru with the perfect play right there. I think he's got time for the defuse. 11D bounces back. A perfect play from him. And that'll tie things up at 1-1.
Yeah, what an exciting finish to that round. You gotta love seeing the double kill with the 0-second bomb defuse. Absolutely clutch from Weru there. And again, he was kind of one of our players to watch going into the series just based off of how he performed in our Tuesday games. Band once again opening up with the first blood for the team. This time finds Weru, and that might be one of the better picks that this Nova team could have got. Now, keep in mind, everybody, the Dead Silence nerf is absolutely going to play a massive role in these games here of Search and Destroy for Season 5. Looking at it, we actually have only one player using Dead Silence, and that is Saxy.
Yeah, we got Parrish holding the inside right here. Park is going to shut him down real quick. 4 players for each team, but not a whole lot of time to work with for this 11D team. Sax is going to find a frag right there. Zai still alive. He finds a kill. 2v2, but only 9 seconds to work with. Somebody needs to go for the defuse right here. Zai's trying to get the frag. Not enough time for 11D to make it happen, and even with the kills going in, they're not going to be able to clutch up the round. Really need to try to push the issue a little bit more when it comes to going for the retake. Obviously, they're capable of getting the frags right there, but need to see a little bit more urgency from this 11D team if they're going to be able to win these rounds on the defensive side.
Yeah, and I think this is an incredibly smart play from Nova here. They pushed 3 rounds in a row incredibly hard at A, and then they made the switch going on over to B. As you can see, that has massively tripped up the side of 11T. We have free plant going over to the side of Nova. That one's going to go to Lewis. And now 11T are forced to face against the clock. 40 seconds on the board, make it 35. And 5 players in a defuse to get. Not really a great situation to be in. Great use of the cryo mid to deter the push in from 11T there. Weru is going to pick up a kill, but they've only got 20 seconds, and there's still 3 members to kill. Oh my goodness. Now Saxy is alone. He did get the kill onto Just, but he's going to be unable to clutch it up for the team. Parker's going to find that kill and tie things up 2-2.
Yeah, things fell apart really, really quickly right there for Nova Invictus. I think they had 25 seconds on the board and 5 players alive and just not able to win their gunfights as the perfect retake does go in for 11D. That will tie things up at 2-2 right here. You got to think with how things went right there, more than likely Nova Invictus will push toward A. We do see that right here as Lewis is now going to push top side. The nade from Just perfectly timed before the trophy systems go out. Trades coming in as Parrish drops the Yuji. 4 players remain for each team. Lewis looking to make the plant right here. I think he will be able to do so. And now the retake is on for 11T. Once again, the bomb is down over on the A site. We're trying to peek those corners to see if he can get a frag. He's got to be aware of that manhole on the backside as well. Nobody really peeking, and Lewis's RPG going to get destroyed by the trophy system. Only 27 seconds to work with. We've seen this in the past. 11T not having enough urgency when it comes to the retake. Weru's going to find the frag right there. That's really big. That opens things up. He's going to be able to find shots onto Saxy. Only 2 players remain. Westy and Lewis trying to defend. Weru's going to try to stick the defuse right here. Lewis is going to get shut down on the push up the stairs, and it will be 11T taking the lead as we get ready to switch sides, and they will move over to the offensive.
Yeah, and again, I'm glad these 2 teams have come through and are facing off so evenly. It's always fun to watch things go back and forth with 2 teams that are even as opposed to just watching a blowout. So at least the games have been quite exciting. Cryo out very early from Saxy. There's Zai.
Did he collat?
Oh. I believe that was a collat. That was indeed a big double kill for him. Westy is able to get the frag onto Yuji, literally and then Nova actually picks up a couple kills there. They now have a 3 versus 2 advantage, and fortunately for them, they have sights on bomb down, so they can pretty much set up their defenses here and really be in a great spot.
Yeah, they're actually going to go for the counter rotation over toward the A site, but the bomb is actually down over on B. So this is not a great situation for 11D to be. Obviously, Zai does have the sniper in hand. That's going to make it a little bit easier for them to find a pick right here. And with him hopping up into the top of their spawn building, could potentially catch somebody off guard, but it doesn't really look like Nova Invictus would like to push anywhere besides the location of the bomb, which makes a whole lot of sense. Zai still overlooking onto the sniper's nest, not able to spot anybody right here. Nova Invictus dead set on not overextending and now making the rotation. He should be able to push up into the sniper's nest. This could open things up for a pick. Tries to pre-fire into the corner, but nobody waiting for him. That'll actually give away their location. But he's going to pick up an AR right here. No doubt players hearing the footsteps on the way in. Westy down below. He's not going to be able to land shots. Parrish gets the trade onto Parka, but the big frags. But Zai not able to hit those final shots. And just like that, Nova Invictus ties things back up at 3-3.
Yeah, and that's absolutely huge for them. They desperately needed that there. Again, they're coming off of a very, very close hardpoint win on Standoff, so obviously they would like to pick up the 20 points for getting a double here, or a 2-0 rather, and that has not been the case. A frag just comes right into Saxy's face, and the whole team takes off. But with a large A defense coming out of Nova, this is going to give the free plant over to 11T on B, and now Nova are in a very similar situation to what 11T were just in round 5. And that's finding 5 kills and a defuse here in 35 seconds while also having to make the cross-map rotation here. Fortunately, there is a short path mid, but that is most certainly going to be the most dangerous way to rotate. We do see Saxy lining up on for it. Maybe a potential situation as he does have dead silence. Finds one, is going to get dropped by Just, but Parrish and Westy pick up the kills, and that's going to be round 4 going in favor of Nova. Or their 4th round, I should say.
Yeah, things just fell apart really quickly right there for 11D. They had 5 play. I mean, we saw that going the other way as well. It's just really tough to defend that B site, and even when you got 5 players alive in 25 seconds on the board before the bomb explodes, just seems like teams have a really tough time defending this B site. Despite that, we do have 11D making the push back over to B, and honestly, Nova Invictus seems fine with it. They have no desire to stop the plant right here and definitely trusting their ability to get the retake. We do have the plant going in for Just right there, and the pressure is on once again. Zai now moving over to the sniper's nest. Nobody really looking to push it, and definitely a very different approach for this 11D team, trying to minimize the impact of the retake push from this Nova Invictus team. And with no picks going in, 20 seconds remaining, Zai in the sniper's nest, everybody over on the spawn side for 11T. Not going to be an easy retake, but nobody really looking at the bomb site. Saxy thought he could get the ninja defuse. Zai gets the pick right there. Band is all by himself. He gets the frag onto Yuji, but Parka gets the refrag. And 11D seems to have found their stride and their strategy over on the B site, and they're going to be able to tie things back up at 4-4.
Yeah, this has been an exciting day of Mobile Mayhem here, Bobby. We could potentially see a domination matchup if 11T are able to pull through here. Obviously, it's going to be a long, hard fight, and only a couple rounds ahead of us, potentially at least 3 more, or potentially 3 more rounds. A little bit more cautious of rotations coming out of 11T here. Yuji is up in mid, finds the bullets on a couple players, but unable to lock down the kill. He's going to hightail it out of there, not wanting to take the 3v1 gunfight. And this is a difficult position for 11T to be in now. They didn't get the aggressive B-side push that they were really hoping for. They seen the defense was set up, and now they are playing against the clock to get a plant down. And Nova are perfectly content with just waiting it out and making a call out when one of their players is able to catch a player in their sights.
Yeah, this is very different from the pace that we've typically seen from these two teams. It's usually been an insta plant and then see who's able to get the retake, and with Nova Invictus perfectly predicting where they needed to defend against this 11D team. They're in a really good spot. Lewis is actually able to push down, get the first blood right there. Ban finds one as well. Things not looking great for 11D. 3 players have dropped off. Weary will drop as well. It's a 1v3 for Zai right here. He does have the sniper in hand, but the bomb is down, which means Nova Invictus not trying to push any of these angles. Somehow Zai not taking any damage from that RPG, and looking to make the push up through mid to see if he can find the frag, but with a nerf to dead silence, these retakes become even more difficult, and we see it right there. Parrish able to listen from the outside, even with Zai landing the snipe. It is Nova Invictus pushing things to a match point. 11D needs to take 2 rounds in a row if they're going to be able to push this to a game 3.
And it could be difficult because, again, Nova have just played their game so well. If you watch their rotations, I mean, as a team, they are just doing phenomenal in covering each other's back. But again, a lot of the gun skills back and forth. Wiru and Zai really carrying over here on the side of 11T, just not far behind with 8. Yuji struggling a bit more than I would expect. I mean, again, this is one of the players I consider to be one of the more consistent in the league. I mean, there's no donut, but being down at 1 kill and the next closest player being 4, and that of Westy, and losing the gunfight there, definitely not what you want to be on the side of 11T there. Nova does lose Saxy, however, to Zai, who is 11 kills on the board now. And single player advantage going over to the side of Nova. But just as I say that, Wiru finds 2!
That's definitely going to be big. Just finds Parrish right there. Westy's all by himself. He finds Just, but the head glitch from Wiru, that's, I mean, you're never going to take him off of that. With a player that is that accurate on a head glitch, that mean you don't have a whole lot of options. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a round 11. The match on the line for this 11D team. We see the full push going on over to A for this Nova Invictus team. We do also see a decent defense coming in, and it's actually going to be a first blood with the nade. Usually taking out Band right there, the insta-plant going in, but we've seen this 11D team able to get this retake before. Saxy on the top side, right next to Wiru. Lewis trying to overlook into, oh, he gets the frag onto Just. Wiru lands the shots, he's able to get a trade, and just like that, man advantage goes in once again for this 11D team. Saxy's pushing down. Wiru capitalizes on the head glitch. Parka able to get the frag right there. Only 2 players remain. Things falling apart. Westy's all by himself. He can't do a thing about it. 11D shuts things down. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, 11D closes things out in game number 2. And it looks like for the second time out of the 2 games tonight, we will be going to a game 3.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. And, you know, we did talk about Yuji struggling quite a bit there, but in that last round, he was able to get a really strong pick, as well as 2 major assists. So, even down there at 2 kills, made a difference in that final round. Wiru popped off like a madman, 15-6. Zai, 12-5, really helping get the team. And you know, with that scoreline, that makes it really difficult to understand sometimes how this game was a 6-5. When looking at the opposition, you know, we've got Lewis 6-9, Parrish 10-8, Band 8-11, Saxy 7-8, Westy 5-9. So Wiru and Zai and Just really putting in mad work here for the side of 11T. As you mentioned, that is going to be a second domination match that we are now going to have between these 2 teams. And honestly, just phenomenal matchups here today between these 2 teams. So, well, I guess between all 4 of the teams so far, I should say.
Yeah, it's, I mean, honestly, the most surprising thing in that match was to see Yuji at 2-9. He's, like you said earlier on, one of the most consistent players in Mobile Mayhem, so for him to be struggling that much is shocking.
He did have 5 major assists.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
That is something to keep in mind. And again, especially in that last round, he was just openly able to get a pick, as well as followed it up with 2 major assists in the round that they absolutely needed, round 11. So even being down at 2-9, there are factors to really boil on in. You know, same could be said over on the other side. Lewis, I think, was 5-9 that game, which is not where we expect him to be on the board. but he was able to pick up a couple defuses. I think he had 4 assists to his name as well. So definitely a lot of really strong players on both of these teams.
Yep, and we're showing that he is absolutely a madman when it comes to search and destroy. We saw that not only tonight, but in the game versus Nova Imperium on Tuesday. He was frying. I think he finished with 14 kills in that one. So to go close to 30 kills in 2 games of search and destroy in mobile mayhem type competition, definitely not anything to scoff at. And he's looking like he's going to be one of the players that we'll have to keep an eye out for as we do get later on into the season. Obviously, now we do have a Game 3 coming at you guys for the second time tonight. We only got 1 player for Nova Invictus, waiting for him to ready up, and we should be good to hop into Domination on Summit. This, like I was saying before, I thought this was going to be the domination game for the other one. It's domination for this matchup, but very heavily dependent on rotations and especially taking control of spawns. We'll see whether or not. I mean, honestly, I don't know who to expect. These two teams are tied right now. Neither of them going to be able to move into the 3rd spot. Obviously, they would need 40 points in order to do so, and the max amount of points coming out of a Game 3 is going to be 10. But it's definitely going to be an intense matchup and hopefully a good sign of the level of competition that we have to come in the later stages of Mobile Mayhem Season 5.
Yeah, absolutely. This should be a great match 3. I mean, again, our first matchup of Hardpoint boiled down to 6 points. And for anybody joining us late, Hardpoint is now to 250. Domination is to a total of 200 with 100 per round. 300 score clock. So with it being a 250 point hardpoint game, to be within 6 points is absolutely phenomenal gameplay to watch. I definitely am excited to see if anyone's really able to pop off strong here for Domination, because again, we have persistence banned. So the whole way that these teams are going to focus around how they play Domination has massively changed from Season 4, where it was a lot of play very passive, just get the defense, pick up your kills, get the bonus points from getting kills on objectives, things of that nature, when safe to do so. And or now it needs to be safe to do so. And we've seen a couple of the matchups not at all have score streaks really going on, and then we've seen a couple where it's Goliaths and cluster strikes left and right. I mean, specifically in that last matchup with was that Imperium versus Zygnus? I mean, we had literally 90 kills between 3 players, and then several players on the opposition as well, up at 25, 26, and I think 29. So really phenomenal plays out of these teams. And again, I think this is another one that could really go down to the wire, and I'm really excited to see who's really going to be the Slayer carries for these teams, because again, we're still very early on in the season. As you mentioned, Wiro in Search and Destroy, absolutely crazy, but as far as Respawn went, I believe it was just Yuji and Zai just really almost single-handed, or well, between the 3 of them, were able to make a comeback in the hardpoint matchup on Standoff. So
Yep, and obviously the player to watch, it seems to be for Nova Invictus, is going to be Parrish, at least when it comes to respawns. He really cooked in that first game and was top fragged by a pretty good margin. Obviously, Saxy's always going to be a top competitor for this team. He's one of the leaders on the team. Definitely a veteran in the competitive scene, not only in COD Mobile, but in other mobile esports as well. By the way, I do appreciate all the gifted subs, everybody watching. We have 1.2 thousand people watching on Trovo. We were at 1.3 at the end of that game, which I think is the all-time high for Mobile Mayhem viewership, at least for North America. So do appreciate all the support. If you could do me a favor, make my mods' lives a little bit easier and try to limit the spam just so that people can actually read chat and talk, that would be fantastic. But it does look like we are readied up and good to go for game number 3.
And it definitely should be an exciting one. I expect a couple of these players to change out their class here, as obviously we're not going to be running 2 Annihilators on each of these teams, so very likely just speed classes off the start. Summit is a very interesting domination setup because a lot of times B for domination is pretty even ground for both sides as far as like height and cover. But moving into Summit, you have one side that has the high ground and one side that has the head glitch. So definitely something to keep in mind around the B flag. But so far, it's been a very early B cap coming out of 11T, but they very quickly as well get cleaned out of the B building. So definitely have to see if Nova are able to maintain this. Just comes through frying Lewis and Band, and that is going to be very potentially another recap coming through, but Saxy is going to stop it with just a sliver. Parka, though, big double. Zai is going to follow it up. That might be the cap going over to 11T there, but as I say that, Westy and Lewis are able to clean things up and kind of maintain control of it. Man, Just is getting a double kill every time he shows his face. So I have to see if that helps them get themselves a B cap back. Does lose the gunfight there to Band, who dropped down at just phenomenal timing as Just poked the corner.
Yeah, it was looking like it was going to be a very back and forth first half, but we've actually seen Nova even things out right here, and they could potentially take the triple cap for a little bit. We see them getting some time right there. Park is not able to knock Band off, and it looks like he's actually going to get the free cap. The triple cap does go into play, despite this 11D team getting the early double cap in the first half. We do see Parka rotating now all the way around, and he's honestly just trying to run away from the shock RC. It looks like he's going to be able to for the time being. The C-cap going in. Ban finally chases him down. He's got a Pred missile ready to go. Trying to take out Yuji right here, and that's actually a big kill for 11D. He was very, very close to getting his Goliath in play as well. Yuji looking like he's started to heat up, and the player that was the hero for game number 2, Wiru, still yet to pick up a kill. Very, very surprising, but just goes to show how much the game changes for a lot of these players in Search and Destroy versus Respawn. Just finding some big kills right there. It is finally going to be the double cap going into play for this 11D team. And that should allow them to continue closing this gap, as they've had pretty good consistency across the board with the exception of Wiru.
Yeah, absolutely. Wiru, I mean, again, Search and Destroy legends, but does seem to struggle quite a bit in Respawn. And Just with 10 kills on the board, Zai with 9, Yuji with 11, Parka with 5. Again, this is kind of that backline consistency we expect out of this team. And Wiru, I mean, if Wiru was able to perform in Respawn the same way he does in Search, this 11T team would be, I mean, kind of right up there, in my opinion, with the likes of Cygnus or Tribe or even Imperium, if they're able to get everything together. Because, again, that's a team that we expect to do exceptionally well, but has seemingly struggled a little bit getting everybody on board with their performance on the phone. But, I mean, again, they improve every day, so definitely be keeping an eye on for that lineup as well. About 20 points between these two teams right now. Wiru finally finding his second kill on the board. Definitely would like to see a little bit more out of him, but right now it's, at least as far as map control goes, working out for the side of 11T. See if he's able to pick up the gunfight there. Once again, losing the fight to Parrish gives Nova a big opportunity to make the rotation in. They have that head glitch again right over the B cap, and that's an opportunity for them to just pick it up again. Saxy threads a nade through the window, finds Wiru, but Wiru's grenade coming through the window also finds Saxy. Pretty funny trade there between those two guys.
And we do have a triple cap going into play for 11D right here. Not only that, but you look over at Zai, he has a Goliath and a sentry gun ready to go. Even though we do have Nova Invictus retaking the C flag right here, they're going to be able to hold it more than likely to the end of the half. If 11D were to be able to get the triple cap, that would be big. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, and more than likely around a 10-point game going into the half. But even with Wiru struggling as much as he had, Zai is really well set up, just has a Pred missile and a shock RC, only 200 points. away from getting a Goliath as well. So even though that half seemed to be relatively dominated by Nova Invictus, the score streak's definitely very, very heavy over on the side of 11D, just because their top players right now are fragging out so hard. Parka and Weru both struggling a good bit. The Pred Missile going in, a double kill on the board for Just. Lewis is able to get a double with the gravity spikes, and the beat cap going in for 11D very, very early off the start again.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they're able to maintain it. They're only about 8 points down right now, which is absolutely huge for them. Everybody in double digits on the side of Nova, but Parka and Weru actually been struggling quite a bit this game, despite Zai, Just, and Yuji performing, again, as expected for Respawn. Weru is up to six kills, so that is pretty big for him. He unfortunately did get knocked a second ago off an Annihilator, which is not looking great for them, but Yuji is going to get dropped. Nova finding a couple kills here. This might be their answer to get into B. That's officially 11T taking the lead here in Domination. Just a couple points separate those two teams right now.
And it does look like Nova Invictus is going to be able to get the retake over onto B. Honestly, a big missed opportunity for Parka. Nearly had the gravity spikes down onto the C flag when there were 3 people taking it for Nova Invictus, but actually mistimed it and ends up staying up top. Just is going to get knocked off of his War Machine, and actually nearly a triple cap going into play for this Nova Invictus team. They actually do maintain the double cap for the time being, and we do see Just and team making their way on over to A. It looks like they're going to be able to hold the double cap right now. They've got some progress onto C. Westy making the push up through control center, finds a big frag right there. We see Just with a Pred Missile in hand once again, and he's got a Goliath that he could work with as well. Obviously, not trying to take the risk, because if you do end up giving that up to the opposing team, that is a really big loss, and with control of the B flag, there's no need to take the risk. But you got to keep in mind, these two teams do have a couple of those in their pockets if they need to call them in. Both Zai and Yuji with a Goliath ready to be used.
Yeah, Yuji able to pick up a big triple kill for the team there, make it 4, almost 5. He also is able to pick up the kill onto Lewis there, but Weru and Zai are going to clean things out. Zai popping off like mad. 27 kills for him, 22 for Just, 23 for Yuji. And they actually lead everybody in the game now. Nova, Saxy, 21. And the rest of the team, again, actually playing quite consistent. Everybody right around the 20 kill mark. So you definitely got to give Nova credit for that one. As they pick up a triple kill, they might be able to pick themselves up a B cap as well.
Yeah, that's some big frags going in for Just right there. It looks like some decent progress on the B flag. Parrish is going to push in with the Annihilator to knock a player away from, I believe it is A right there. And we do have the double cap going back into the favor of Nova Invictus. But they've got to hold this for pretty close to max time if they're going to be able to close this one out. We do see an A cap going in for 11D. As long as they can hold this for just a little bit longer, it's going to require a triple cap for Nova Invictus to come away with the win. We do see them taking down the A flag. Usually actually not too worried about it, and it does look like for right now the double cap goes in for Nova Invictus. A minute left on the clock. It does look like we won't have to worry about going to max time. Some progress in on the B flag. Nova Invictus has to hold this for full time. The double cap, that is, if they're going to be able to close it out. But a very heavy push coming in from 11D. They take the B flag right there. Just and Zai, both above the 30 kill mark, usually with 28 on the board. And right now, it's looking like 11T is in the position they need to be to close this one out. They've got progress onto C. They got Yuji pushing through, taking shots onto Lewis. He can't get the kill right there. He might still get the cap. He doesn't get it. So close. Zai slides on. He gets the finish right there. Double cap goes back in for 11D. That's going to be all that they need. With Weru struggling down at 7 kills, it doesn't matter. Yuji, Just, Zai, all at 30 plus. And it's going to be 11D coming out on top in Game 3.
And that's just our second matchup of the night, guys. Both of them going all the way to Game 3. Both of those Game 3s having 3 players with a combined 90 kills for a team. So excellent work out of them. Yuji, 6,122 points on the board with 30 kills, as well as looking at the caps, Yuji with 10 caps, Saxy with 13, Westy with 12, but Parka, 17 caps on the board for him. Wiru struggled so hard throughout that game, went 7-26 at the end of everything, but was able to pull together 13 caps for the team as well. So making work where he can, but you definitely, for 11T's sake, would hope to see Wiru perform a little bit better in respawn as well. I mean, we know the gun skills there. I mean, he's winning gunfights left and right in Search and Destroy. So hopefully he's able to get things together, because again, this 11T team, if they could have that consistency across the board out of Wiru, they could potentially be a fan favorite to win this thing. If they, if you had Wiru up there with 30 kills with Yuji in them, I mean, that would be a certainly scary team to face off in respawn.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't sleep on the contribution that Parka made right there. 17 flag caps. Obviously, we see more flag caps going in as we do have the move from 150 points in Domination to 200, but oh my gosh, 17 flag caps is really, really big for 11D, and no doubt one of the biggest reasons that they were able to get the win right there. So congratulations to them. Like you said, that's only game number 2. There's just been so much excitement through the first couple games so far tonight. I would need to go get some water because
we thought the content creators versus NL was going to be one of the more exciting matchups for the night. But like, how do you answer these two matches to start? I mean,
we just hit our peak viewership for Mobile Mayhem. We got 1.4K on Trovo and 1.2K on YouTube. So is that 2.6K combined between the two platforms? And supposedly this isn't even our best matchup of the night, so I don't even know where to go for there. We obviously have Tribe Gaming versus Strike Zone coming up next, and then NL Esports versus the Trovo Mayhem content creator team in our final game of the night. Definitely make sure you guys don't go anywhere, because we've got some more fantastic matchups coming at you guys. Whew. Oh, man. We lost a day. Hello? I'll go ahead and mute while I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. I kind of need. Oh, did we lose data altogether? I don't even know what happened right there. Yeah. I probably need to go get some water at some point, because like the number of good games that we had through his first 2, oh my gosh. Oh, brother. Yeah, 2 fantastic matchups, 2 fantastic game 3s. Hopefully, Day will be back with us. I am going to send you guys to the schedule page while I go fill out my water, because my voice is already almost gone. I'm just kidding. I'll wait till Day comes back. We are working on getting our players loaded in. We've already got some Strike Zone players loaded into the lobby. Obviously, they will be going up against the new Tribe roster. Very different from the team that we had last season, but definitely has not seemed to be any less lethal. Slothy, one of the veterans in the COD Mobile competitive scene, as is Jez. Obviously, Marshy and Bolu, 2 of the staples on this Tribe roster, playing a really big role so far for them. Strike Zone, one of the newer teams. They struggled up against the Trovo Mayhem content creator team, but definitely some really solid players over there, and honestly gave them a better run than Exile did in their matchup. So we'll see what this one ends up looking like. Honestly, any matchup where Bolu is in play is going to be a difficult one for the opposing team, simply because of his IGL abilities. I've just seen it even in content creator tournaments where the team has gone significantly negative and still somehow managed to come out on top. And it sounds like Day is back. I believe Day is back.
Yeah, I'm back.
All right. I'm gonna go grab some water real quick. All right, I'm back. Hopefully this water will be enough to pull me through.
Ideally.
That's just
would like to
way
say so.
too much excitement for the first two games.
Definitely a good way to start it off.
It's a good thing that the first two games of Tuesday night weren't that exciting. Otherwise, I just wouldn't have made it through.
Definitely a great way to start off the day, though. I have no complaints.
Yep. We do have everybody loaded in for Strike Zone versus Tribe, so I believe we should be starting up soon, obviously. Un momento. Starting lineups for each team. Slothy, Bolu, Aflows, Saizu, and Jez. Starting for Tribe, Envy, Hua, Jason and Saints, and Slasher starting for Strike Zone. I believe Slasher was out on Tuesday, but looking like he is making his return.
I feel like he played the first game on Tuesday and then subbed out.
I believe that might be correct. You might be right on that one.
It looks like our first matchup for you guys here for Tribe versus Strike Zone will be Hardpoint Summit. The weapon bans between these two teams, DRH by Tribe and the ASM-10 by Strike Zone. And then the map bans, if anybody is interested. Tribe did ban Search and Destroy on Standoff, and Strike Zone banned Hardpoint on Scrapyard.
Yep, definitely gonna make for a good game. The ASM-10 and DRH are kind of the two weapons that you expect to be banned, just as across the competitive scene, those are the two that you typically see used the most. So nothing too surprising to see right there. Summit Hardpoint, definitely an interesting one, just because things can start to get lopsided really quickly when it comes to Hardpoint. So if it does turn to one team way up on top in regards to score, it could be a quick first game. And then as we saw in our last matchup, Meltdown, Search, and Destroy, always a great one to watch. So we'll see how these two teams match up against each other. Obviously, Strike Zone struggling a good bit on Tuesday, going up against the content creator team. And Tribe has not really had anybody that has given them a whole lot of competition other than submitting screenshots. So assuming they're able to do that properly, you would expect that they'll probably be able to get the 2-0 here, which will be big for them, especially with the minus 20 in the first day's games. That would allow them to move up to 20 points. And taking a look at our standings right here, definitely going to be especially important in Division 2, which is right now lagging a little bit behind in the point department.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes that is just the way everything boils on down. We do have a request from the admins, though, Bobby. If you can, for Domination, move the Trovo logo down because it covers all 3 of the flags for Domination.
Yes, I can do that.
Okay.
I already finished my water. All right. Just waiting for our tribe players to ready up. And we should be good to go for game number 1. I would like to say there's one player to watch on this team, but just so many fraggers. We've seen A-Flows make some really big plays, especially in the respawns. Slothy is one of those COD Mobile competitive veterans that you can just always count on to have a big performance. Bolu, the OBJ player, the IGL, and then both Jez and Saizu can really either pop off at any given point in time. Obviously, not a whole lot of really proven players over on that strike zone side, but were they to be able to get the win in tonight's matchup would be really, really huge for them.
Yeah, definitely should be a good one ahead of us here today. Tribe, obviously, you would expect them to come through with a win here. Again, not to say anything bad about Strike Zone, just that has been the way that Tribe has been performing. I mean, Tribe's biggest enemy this season has been the rules. So if they're able to get that down, I don't see them having any issue here. Bolu does pick up the double kill, does have the shotgun out, not something we see too often here, with many of the shotguns having been nerfed into the ground. Slothy as well with a shotgun in hand. Jez as well with a shotgun in hand.
Yeah. We've got 3 shotguns and a Pharaoh. The Pharaoh hasn't been meta since, I believe, season 6 or 7 of Call of Duty Mobile. So this is definitely very interesting to see. I think, to a certain extent, almost a flex by Tribe. Saizu yet to pick up a kill on the board, but it hasn't really mattered as his teammates have been absolutely fragging out. Jason for Strike Zone actually having a great game so far, but hasn't translated into a whole lot of points. He's got a Shock RC in play, trying to make the push in. The Shock RC actually gets destroyed by A-Flows right there. However, he immediately gets deleted by the Pharaoh, and a couple trades go in. It is going to be Tribe leaving P1 with a 34-point lead. Bolu finds the frag from up top. 6 kills on the board for him, and hopping into that bottom side should allow him to close some of the gaps. Misses the second shot as well, but his teammate cleaning things up right there. Nobody on the hard point for the time being, but all the frags going the way of Tribe Gaming right now, and they are definitely set up really, really well for P2.
Yeah, they absolutely are, and this is definitely a difficult situation to be in if you are Strike Zone, because typically the first 2 hard points on this map doesn't really net a huge gain for either team, just because of the respawns, everything being in the middle, there being so many ways in to each of the first hard points. It's usually very even, or very back and forth, or very just stalled out. And with Tribe having a 50-point lead right now, not a great situation to be in for Strike Zone, especially with the amount of gunfights that are just going in favor of Tribe. You would absolutely expect them to be able to hold anchor for oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
You're looking at
Did you see Flows with the triple kill with the Sparrow?
I did
what
not.
A nut.
Yeah,
that was beautiful.
Bolu's just kind of waiting on the top side with a shotgun in hand. Anybody that tries to come through mid on that rotation is not going to have a very fun time. A-Flow is actually going to be taken out right there, but he and Slothy already combining for 22 off the start for Tribe. they've got control of spawns, and like we said off the start, this is a very heavily dependent on spawns map. It's actually, it looks like it's going to be Strike Zone taking control right here. Who is going to be able to push in and get the final frag onto Bolu, and they'll actually manage to take control of spawns, unfortunately for them. It's a little late in the game for them to be doing so, as they'll be able to get up to, it looks like a max of 35 points on the board. Tribe already perfectly set up for that next hard point, and right now Bolu just pushing out so he can get a couple more kills with his Annihilator. He's going to be able to get a nice 3-piece right there, and now making the rotation back to P4 with his teammates.
Yeah, definitely a big game so far for the side of Tribe. 12 for Flows, 14 for Bolu, 11 for Slothy. Looking at the opposition Strike Zone, Jason and Hua actually doing pretty decent for themselves as well. 12 and 11 kills respectively. But it is Tribe with just absolute dominance in the scoreboard, at least right now. They're up 80 points in the first rotation here. And actually, it is Strike Zone getting the anchor here, which is really strong for them because of the respawns. Tribe are going to go ahead and make the push in, looking like they want the kills and the trickle points here at the end of this objective, as well as possibly taking spawns so that they have the high ground when rotating it back through to P1. So definitely keep an eye out for how they make use of that. I do believe specifically along from Tribe side, if you're on the upper platform, there's a lot of close range shotgun viability there, and a lot of members of Tribe obviously using the shotguns right now, so trying to make use of that where they can. Tribe nearly 100-point lead right now, as they are ticking right up to 140 points and maintain control of the hard point through that gunfight as well. Strike Zone definitely struggling quite a bit, but they're certainly not out of it. I mean, we almost saw 11T make a huge comeback on Standoff earlier, so Strike Zone more than capable of it, especially if Jason and Hua can continue the work that they're doing, and if perhaps Saints is able to step things up a little bit. 4 kills on the board for him, then again, Jez as well, 4 kills for him, so...
Yeah, I would love to see Strike Zone make a comeback right here, but right now, Bolu is just bullying everybody on this hard point. He's got a sentry gun set up, all the way cycled through his streak, somehow able to knock Slasher off of his War Machine as well. That's going to be pretty close to max time going in for Tribe. Pred Missile is going to mean another kill for Bolu. He now has 22 with a gun that most people would consider to be off meta, and right now, Tribe still seemingly pretty solidly in control. Bolu's got the, if anything goes south, we've got a Goliath in hand approach right now, and not really feeling the need to throw it down, but if he ever does, he's got that in his back pocket. 25 kills on the board for him. A-Flows with 17. Saints really struggling for Strike Zone right now. Still down at 4 kills on the board. Not a good game for him so far. He's going to need to turn things around in a really big way if Strike Zone's going to have a shot at this comeback.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. As Tribe approached the 200-point mark, with 250 being the max score, you certainly would expect Tribe to maintain control and pull off a win here, especially with how their performance has been in Week 1 and Week 2 so far. And continues to be a Tribe favor, but Strike Zone, they have the anchor, they have the respawns they need here for this second attempt at P3. But again, just with the way Tribe has been playing, this is a dangerous spot for Strike Zone to be playing in. Envy does pick up the kill with the Tempest, and actually Envy gets a big triple kill right when the team needs it most. That is going to be absolutely huge for Strike Zone. I don't know how much it's going to affect, as they do at the end of this hard point have to rotate all the way across the map, which you know Tribe will absolutely be set up and ready to go on. But this will be a pretty big shift of points going over to the side of Strike Zone, especially if they're able to win another fight here. With about 30 points still on the board, they could cross over 120. Slothy finds one, Flows trades himself out. Slothy finds another before getting dropped by Saints. But that's going to be Tribe taking control. They'll be able to pick themselves up about 18 points there, which is going to put them about 20 points shy of taking the win, and stops Strike Zone 2 points shy of triple digits.
Yeah, just too many big plays coming in for Tribe. Slothy's going to find another one right there. He's on the verge of 20 kills. Jez struggling a lot, but just doesn't really seem to matter right now. His Tribe nearly gets the break almost at will. Who is actually going to find a big double kill on the point to allow them to get some more hill time right here. Is they would like to be able to push this back to a P1, but with the way that Tribe's playing right now, it's not going to be an easy task. Saizu's got a Goliath in his back pocket as well. Bolu would like to make the push right here. Keep in mind, he does not have a smoke to work with, so it's going to be tougher to close that gap, and it looks like he's actually going to elect to make the push around the AS&D site. Not going to be an easy thing to do. He's going to send out the nade right there, but there's already a trophy system down. Doesn't even matter. He still gets the shotgun kill right there, and he's going to pull out an AR, see if he can maybe beam a couple people off this hill. I think he's listening primarily, and that did not end up working out well, as Saints actually ends up getting the frag with the Annihilator. Only a 70-point game. I say that mainly because it was a much bigger lead earlier on in this game, and only 19 more points needed for Tribe to be able to close this one out. Lots of work for Strike Zone to do, but definitely not an impossible task. We'll see if they've got it in them as we do hop back to P1.
Tribe definitely would be looking to close things out here, obviously with the points that they not only did get a 0 in the first week, but the points from the DQ being negative. Certainly an uncomfortable position for them to be in, specifically with the way they've been performing, right? Like, they've been pretty dominant in all of their games, including this one, as they do pick up the round win there. So again, Tribe, you would expect they're going to try to walk away here with the 2-0, just to, again, kind of get themselves on the board at this point.
Yep, and Aflos and Bolu, not too surprising to see them as the top two fraggers for the team. Bolu, both players, 29 kills on the board, even though Jez didn't quite live up to what we would expect from him. Didn't really need a whole lot for Tribe to be able to close that one out, and Strike Zone was consistent, but consistency isn't quite going to make it if it's consistently negative. So they definitely are going to need to win more gunfights if they're going to have a shot at taking out this Tribe Gaming team. Obviously, this is one of the most feared teams in this league, and especially as a group of players that have been playing on phone for months and months on end. Not too surprising to see them as dominant as they have been right here. Bolu and Aflos. Bolu going double positive, Aflos close to it as well. And definitely need to see big things from Strike Zone in game number 2. They did struggle more in the Search and Destroy against the Trovo Mayhem than they did in the Respawn, so they're definitely going to need to step things up. But with a couple changes to the roster, could definitely be possible. We'll see if they're able to pull it out as we do get ready to hop into game number 2, which is going to be Meltdown, Search and Destroy.
And this is definitely one where you would expect specifically Aflos to be in control of the long-range fights, being at least once, if not still revered as the best, if not one of the best phone snipers. So obviously there's still a bunch of players that, you know, once were on iPad making the transition over to phone, so we'll have to see if he's able to kind of maintain that reputation through Season 5 here. Obviously players like Tectonic we've seen using a lot of sniper lately, looking at the likes of I believe Cheto played on iPad previously and is moving to iPhone now. As well as, you know, Swag and High on Nova Imperium are also very, very revered for their sniping skills. So definitely look forward to seeing how that one is going to work out. Who is the other one we saw earlier is it Loyal?
Yep.
Loyal as well, another really strong sniper. So definitely going to be a competitive marksman of the split this season.
Yeah, it's going to be... I feel like it's just going to be so much different because it seems like as far as I can think, the marksman of the split has always been a tablet player. So this really does open things up, especially for these players that have been sniping on phone for a really, really long time. Yeah, I think it's just going to be a really different season as far as the players that we see up at the top. And obviously, a lot of these players have not really had a whole lot of an issue making the transition to phone. Obviously, some struggles here and there, but just with the talent that they have and obviously the muscle memory as well, lots of those top players easily making the transition. And we'll see more improvement throughout the season from those players as well. Even though they might not be at their best at the very beginning of the season, they have more room for improvement because they haven't had as much time on the phone, and because of that, could see some crazy performances as we do head in to the second half of the season. But keep in mind, this is only day 3 of the regular season for Mobile Mayhem, and still a long way to go on the leaderboards, as every single one of these teams is going to be fighting for those top spots as we do move into the quarterfinals and semifinals, as each one of these teams is going to be competing for that $2,500.
You know what is kind of unfortunate, Bobby?
What?
No sneaky for Season 5.
That's true. I didn't even realize.
No sneaky in Season 5, but Fish on NL as well has been one that has pulled out the sniper and really been pretty impressive. So for our final matchup of the night, we'll definitely have to keep an eye on him because, again, that's one of the ones that we're looking at as far as potential. I mean, there's like 5 people I could see getting sniper of the split right now.
Yeah.
So obviously, as the season goes on and we see more of these players moving in and out of the highlight reels, we'll definitely have to kind of keep that in mind.
Yeah, we've got all of our strike zone players readied up. So once Tribe has everything squared away, we should be good to go for game number 2. Based on the way things looked in game 1, looks unlikely that we will have a game number 3 like we did in the first couple of matchups. But with that being said, I would say probably the most competitive matchup that we're going to have tonight is going to be the final one between NL Esports. This will be, or NL Esports and Trovo Mayhem. This will be the first really solid competition I feel like that Trovo Mayhem has had. No disrespect to the teams that they played on Tuesday, but NL Esports, always one of the top contenders in Mobile Mayhem, and I feel like could really give them a run for the money, if not take them out completely. Obviously, it'll be a different roster playing for Trovo Mayhem, with the absence of Godsley and Noah, probably 2 of the leaders on the team, could very well change.
Noah and Little B, actually.
Oh, Little B's out. Okay.
Yep.
So Godsley is playing, I guess.
At least that's what I saw in the admin chat earlier.
Okay, I thought I saw Godsley tweet that he wasn't playing, but I could be very wrong.
Maybe all 3 of them aren't playing. I don't know. I just know in the admin chat, it looks like Little B and Noah are out.
All right.
But we are getting into our search and destroy game. Just a couple seconds on in here. We do have Strike Zone making a aggressive B-side push with the bomb here. But it is going to be Flows picking up a double. Finds the Dome of Saints. Finds the kill onto Jason to follow it up. That's absolutely huge for Tribe.
Finish the mission.
Jez picking up a kill onto...
Oh, man.
Where... I mean, I couldn't even tell you what happened there other than Jez and Flows just popping off.
The Arctic 50 is what happened right there. Flows with the Arctic 50 at 3. Jez with the Arctic 50 at... the Arctic 50, that's what happens. You don't typically see that on the defensive side. Sometimes you'll see people steamroll on the offensive side, but... Oh my gosh, Slothy finds the snipe onto Envy right there, and Strike Zone just doesn't really seem to stand a chance. We do actually have Hua taking out Saizu right there. It does seem like they have an open B plant, but Jez is going to peek the corner, and just like that, 2 more Arctic 50 kills go into play. A 2-man advantage for this Tribe Gaming roster. Saints still on the backside and trying for everything in him not to get spotted, but with 4 players in the surrounding area. And the spam of Arctic 50 shots on the way seems unlikely. A flow. He pulls out the FHJ. That's going to be an easy frag for him, and it will be Tribe taking the 2-0 lead.
Yeah, and this is kind of what we expected moving on into this matchup. Just again, nothing against Strike Zone, just everything in favor of Tribe with the way they've been playing. They did technically lose their first day of games up against 11 in a 2-0 fashion, but it was a 2-0 DQ fashion. They actually did pretty one-sidedly win those games. So definitely have to give credit to Tribe here again with an entirely new roster as well. So it's actually a Strike Zone win there, as I believe that was Jason picks up a double kill with the shotgun there at the end.
Yeah, that was a big kill really a big round for them. Obviously, Jason with the final double kill right there, like we said, and pretty aggressive B defense once again. So we do have Strike Zone pushing the B side. Saizu is going to find the first frag, making the first 2 right there as Hua and Saints drop. Not too surprising to see Jez coming through with a few more Arctic 50 shots, and Strike Zone just seems kind of terrified for their lives right now. Slasher, the only player remaining against the 5 Tribe players. Slothy's going to climb up, trying to find the shots. I'm not sure why Slasher didn't take the shot right there. Slothy was just crouch walking in front of him, and I don't know if he was AFK or what, but that's going to be another easy round win.
Fear.
Yeah, he is just crapping his pants right there. As A-Flows and Jez are just running through this. I mean, snipers in general running through this lobby right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a 3-1 lead for Tribe right now, and again, normally you would at least give the advantage to the offense as far as, hey, your team can make the whole rush rotation. The other team is going to be split, trying to defend 2 objectives. Tribe, they just don't even care right now. They are going into the second half looking at least for a 4-1 lead, but with Jez being down, definitely a little bit of a hindrance, but Flows picks up a kill onto Saints there. That's going to be a good answer back. Bolu falling to Jason, not great, but Slothy picks up the return kill. It's going to be a 3 versus 3. Bomb is planted. Hua almost gets absolutely bodied there, somehow makes out alive, and is able to find the kill onto A-Flows. Going to leave just Slothy and Saizu up against the 3 members of the Strike Zone at this point. They need to make the rotation over, they need to find 3 kills, and they need to find a defuse in 20 seconds.
Yep, Slothy missed a couple shots right there. He's going to miss another one, and I'm not sure how he's alive for that long. It actually is going to be Strike Zone taking round 5 right there, and honestly finishing off the half relatively well, especially given how they started. I think in the first 2 rounds, they had a total of 1 kill, so showing that they do still have some life. It does look like Tribe's going to go with the aggressive A push, which, given their success with the sniper so far, is a little surprising to see, but pretty much uncontested over at A. It looks like this is going to be the right move for them. The A plant is going to go down, and now the pressure is on. It's going to require a 5-man retake, and with Hua taking out Saizu right there, that is 1 step closer where they need to be, but Envy's going to take a big hit marker from the nade and forced to back up. Hua sending smokes over top. Bolu gets the frag onto Slasher with the nade, and that'll even things up for a piece. Hua with a big frag with the HVK. Bolu takes some shots in the back. He's trying to stay alive right now. A-Flow's not able to hit the shots. Only 14 seconds for Hua to get the defuse right here. They've got 2 players alive, but A-Flow's trying to play time. Hua's going to try to stick it right now. A-Flow's hits the shot perfectly. Doesn't even matter what happens right here. Somehow Saint's still not able to hit the shotgun shot. He does get the sniper kill to finish, but regardless, it will be Tribe taking the round and moving up 4-2.
Yeah, just potentially 2 rounds away from Tribe closing out a victory, or potentially a long comeback for Strike Zone if they were able to find 4 out of the next 5 games or rounds rather. So a long comeback, but definitely a possible comeback. We've seen them pick up a couple rounds already. We do have a strong A-side plant coming out of Tribe once again, and definitely think this is going to be a rough situation for Strike Zone to be in. They were certainly not positioned great for an A-side defense. I think they were more so expecting Tribe to kind of switch it up and make the B-side push there. Didn't really turn out that way, though. And now with only 20 seconds on the clock and a 4 versus 4, not looking great for the side of Strike Zone, shy of a miracle.
Yep, Slothy slides the corner, does a little bit of damage initially, follows it up with a frag. Wow. Everybody from Strike Zone melting in a matter of seconds, and that will be Tribe taking another round win. They are now at match point and looking like it might be a pretty easy one for them to close out. Obviously, Strike Zone would like to be able to turn things around right here, but Tribe perfectly predicts the Strike Zone defense. They're going to be wide open over on the B site. That's going to be a free plant for them, if I had to guess. Jez making the push on up to B, and now a group of confused Strike Zone players try to make their way on over to the B site. The bomb is going down. It's going to be a tough retake to get, especially with Slothy on this backside. He does have a flanking player from Strike Zone and could potentially be caught off guard right here.
Doing a great shot, though. Might be able to find a couple snipes. Finds the big collateral mid. What a shot from Saizu. That was a incredibly aggressive rotation.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Slothy just hit the no-scope right there, which is a pretty good summary of the ending of this game. Envy is going to be able to get 1 frag before Bolu closes things out, and it is going to be an easy Tribe Gaming win. In game number 2, it's going to be 6-2. Aerith with the host. I appreciate it. We are getting ready to hop into our content creator versus NL game for the night. Definitely going to be a good one, as obviously Tribe Gaming not having too much difficulty in their 3rd matchup so far. Yet to lose a game outside of DQs as a result of submitting screenshots, and definitely got a feeling they are shaping up to be one of the top teams this season as well.
Absolutely looking like it. Tribe have been strong in every single one of their matchups. Again, realistically, the first day, I mean, again, they were in control of the 11T games, but again, following the rules was an issue for them in week 1. I expect, again, anytime one of these teams runs into that situation, I expect it to be a one and done, because, I mean, honestly, the punishments, quite severe, rightfully so, but it's definitely been an exciting day so far. This is absolutely our most one-sided match that we've had. Obviously, our previous 2 matches going all the way into a game 3, and for the most part being very close game 3s as well. So definitely a fun one we have ahead of us. And moving into our last matchup of the night, Bobby, this is kind of the one that we thought was going to be the most exciting to watch. But I'm gonna be honest. After the first 2 matchups, it's kind of hard to take that measure at this point because, NL versus the MAYHEM squad, obviously going to be a good game. But is it going to go to a game 3 with 90 kills on the winning team between 3 players? I have to find out.
Yeah, that's it's just a really high bar to set for those first 2 games. So obviously excited to watch this game and hoping that it does end up going to a game number 3, but we'll have to see. You have Tectonic and B-Nates loaded in. Run it. I'm going to guess that that's Gosley. Honestly, I can't wait for the name lock to go into play so that we can actually know who Gosley is, because it seems like he changes his name every 3 days, since that is what the game allows you to do.
I know someone else like that, Bobby.
Who? I don't know. I don't know who you could be referring to.
All right.
I'm not a player. I'm immune. I'm immune to the rule.
still pretty funny, but I mean, clearly you understand his motivation and
I
his,
do, but he's not the one that's commentate. I'm the one that's got to commentate. Just for your context, biggest simp YT is Aerith. So we are waiting for one more content creator to get loaded in, and then obviously the whole team of NL will need to load in as well. Taking a look at the standings real quick. 11T obviously moving up to 30 points right there. Tribe moving up to 20 to tie with Zygnus and Nova Imperium. And based on the course that they've set so far, seeming like they'll probably, in no short amount of time, be at the top of Division 2, especially with how consistent they've been so far. Trovo Mayhem currently at the top of Division 1 along with NL Esports, so this really is going to be the battle to see who will leave Week 2 at the top of the most competitive division in Mobile Mayhem.
Yeah, definitely going to be a good matchup between these two teams. I mean, season after season, the NL roster has changed a little bit, and somehow these guys managed to continue to find players that just come onto this team. And as far as gameplay wise, at least, I can't speak much outside of the gameplay. They often find players that just mesh really well together. They have the gun skill. They seem to make rotations well. And it's usually a flawless entry to their team. I mean, we saw NL obviously win the season they picked up Tempo. We saw them pick up Dante for the following season, and he really honestly came on the team, and in the first couple weeks there opened up with just such a strong performance. And then we saw his attendance dwindle quite a bit. But I mean, moving on into season 5 here, Fish has been phenomenal. I mean, we've seen Fish out sniping Cheto, which is I mean, I know Cheto's made the transition to phone from iPad, and that's definitely going to be a struggle. But still, I mean, even to come in and say, hey, this new player is doing better than Cheto is just really shows how well Fish has been doing. Some of that could boil down to just the matchups they've had. I do think this will be one of their better matchups so far, at least. With their first matchups being they played against Cygnus in the first week, so that was obviously a pretty strong matchup that I believe they won 2-0. And then in the second week, they played Fierce, which, just to remind everybody here for chat, that is not the same Fierce lineup from Season 4 that won everything. This is essentially the Gravity roster. So, again, nothing against Gravity, just when you look at the skill level that NL brings to the table season after season after season, you expect them to have players that would perform well in that kind of a matchup. But now, moving up against the content creator squad, I mean, this is Tectonic we're talking about. This is Godsley, who's not been a pro player for some time, but has absolutely come into the scene and shown that he can still hang. So definitely going to be a fun one.
All right. Yes, our admins have confirmed that Run It is in fact Godsley. He's in the OG Gangstars clan, so that's how you know it's him. All right, good to know. Godsley, the Gangstar, loaded in. We do have all of our NL roster loaded in as well, so should be pretty good to go momentarily right here. Definitely going to be a great matchup. Very significant changes. Obviously, Little B was the top fragger for Trovo Mayhem on Tuesday, and I believe he may actually be switching devices at some point in the future. So that could potentially even things out a little bit, as it is very obvious that he is just stupidly good on the iPad, but we also know from watching Tribe last season that he's perfectly capable of performing at a top tier level on phone as well. Definitely going to be interesting to see how these two teams match up against each other. I feel like communication is going to be one thing that will really set NL above Trovo Mayhem is having a bunch of different content creators who have not played on the same team together in the past. Can sometimes tend to cause communication issues. If they're able to get that streamlined, that'll definitely make life a whole lot easier for them. But we will have to wait and see. Like we said, game number 1 is going to be Hardpoint Summit. ASM-10 and DRH ban, Standoff, Search and Destroy for game number 2. And if we do go to a game 3, it will be Firing Range Domination. So hopefully not too much longer, and we should be good to go for our final match of the night.
Yeah, should be a good one as well. Again, this is the matchup that we were, as the casters at least, really looking forward to. I mean, just based on obviously the skill level on each of these teams. You know, I know you mentioned that Little B is potentially making the switch to phone. I think that would be exciting, and I think would take some of the complaints, take some of the complaining out. You know, because again, his performance has been exceptional, and as a current pro player, being able to continue playing on the iPad, I definitely think integrity-wise, he should make that switch.
Yep. All right. Most players readied up, and it looks like NL switching up a few things before we hop into game 1. Obviously, we saw this in the last game as well, but very heavily dependent on taking control of spawns. And for a team that's been playing together as long as this NL roster has, you got to think that's something they feel a little bit more confident in. We'll see if they're able to do it. Bans on the ASM-10 and DRH, so should change up the meta a good bit as well. But it looks like we are good to go for game number 1.
And getting into game number 1 between NL and the Trovo Mayhem should certainly be an exciting one. We see both teams taking the rush top. B-Nate's Gamer is going to find a kill onto Cheto. Kills jumping back and forth between these two teams. Does look like NL massively win the trades, though, as several more kills currently on their team. 1 for Envoy, 1 for Cheto, 3 for Raven, 1 for Fish, and Vague is finally able to answer for his team, getting a double kill for them. And to Tio, though, coming through, frying off hard.
Yep, Tectonic on the bottom side. He's going to get taken out by Fish right there, and a really strong start for this NL team. 37 points uncontested so far, as a couple players struggling to get on the board for Trovo Mayhem. Both Godsley and Aerith struggling a little bit off the start. We'll see if they're able to turn things around. Wow, this has been, even though in the kills department, it hasn't really been that crazy for NL to go up to a 48-5 lead off the start, going up against some of the top competition in Mobile Mayhem. Definitely a great start for them. It is going to be Tectonic hopping down, but Tatio is waiting for him on the backside right there. Unfortunately for NL, B-Nates is there, ready to hop onto the hill. He will be able to return shots, and it will be Trovo Mayhem maintaining P2 for the time being.
Yeah, pretty solid game here so far. NL were able to maintain massive control over that first objective, but obviously the Trovo Mayhem have had all of point 2 in their favor. They, in fact, can take a lead here if they're able to keep the kills moving on in their favor, forcing NL back. They do take the lead here currently, and that is really ideal for them, as, you know, again, this is going to be at least their, in our opinion, Bobby, we had said this should be their toughest matchup, just based on the skill level that there is on this team. You see Godsley sitting in the back there, looking like he wants the gun down to Tio. Between him and Aerith, they are able to pick that kill up. Still very, very even between these two teams, but NL do get control of hardpoint, and they do start ticking away some points here. But Tio getting a little bit of a rough spawn, but spawns in a great position to rotate down behind Vague. This may be potentially a break for NL as Tio's made it over, but the Shock RC is going to lock him down for Tectonic to jump the corner. Picks up one, picks up two, and this is likely going to be pretty much the rest of this control going over to the side of the Trovo Mayhem. NL very likely going to sit back and just hang on to anchor and hang on to control for P4, because as you can see, there's 20 seconds on the board. If they go and fight over this, they're essentially just going to give the anchor up to Trovo Mayhem, which will give them spawn for P4. So not an ideal situation for NL. As you did see, Tio did die there because his team, again, played the rotation smart. He's sitting back. He's got his anchor respawn, and they are looking prime for P4 here.
Yeah, NL very well set up right now. A couple big frags coming in. Tio's going to drop Vague. Envoy taking out Tectonic. Anytime you can take out Tectonic, that's going to automatically be a good sign. This is a guy that had time and time again, despite the fact that he is playing on phone, has been able to outfrag even a lot of the top iPad players. So, we do have NL holding down the hard point for the time being, but Shadow getting a lot of pressure and not a whole lot from his teammates, able to help right here. A couple big frags come in, but it will be a hard point take for Trovo Mayhem. That'll allow them to continue to take upward. NL not able to get quite enough time to hold right there, and Fish, even though he's able to get the frag, not able to hold it for the time being. 15 kills on the board for Tectonic right now. Raven will beam from the top of Control Center, and right now looking like NL pretty content to go ahead, set back up for P1, as we do have Trovo Mayhem getting the rest of the scrap time on P4. We'll see how the battle plays out as nades now go into top Control Center, and we'll see which team comes away with control.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, the content creators do have a 30-point lead, which is looking good for them, but it is NL with control over P1 once again, and they did maintain control of this point throughout the whole start of the game, so very likely could be capable of doing so again. Envoy able to pick up, I think, 3 kills with the War Machine there, so really good plays coming out of him. Cheto, a double kill with the Annihilator to Tio. Just straight dropping Godsley there.
Yeah, B-Nate's going top control. He's actually got the GKS in hand, which is not something we've seen used a lot recently, but definitely making it work. 12 kills on the board for him. One player to the side, not able to lock on with the Annihilator. Fish is going to be able to take him out right there, and despite a lack of kills over on NL, they've still been able to keep things pretty consistent. Fish is going to find shots onto Aerith right there. Tectonic able to get the refrag. Keep in mind, he's still got a Goliath in his back pocket, which is a great spot for him to be. It does look like NL's pretty well set up, but Tectonic just mowing down everybody in his path. He's going to be able to hop on the point, getting those initial 100 points, and now pushing back a little bit as he does see the operators coming into play for NL. We've seen the Tempest so good. Fish with 16 kills on the board. Tectonic trying to stop it right there. He's going to be able to do so. 20 kills on the board for him. Time and time again, making the plays for this team. B-Nate's beaming with that GKS, opening things up for Trovo Mayhem to push in, but they just haven't been able to do it. They do have control of spawns, and Tectonic gets a little bit of time right here, but not able to win the gunfight. Cheto gets a big 2-piece right there. And it looks like NL will be able to clean up the rest of the scrap time as they look to make the rotation to try to take control of P3.
And this has been a close game, just the way we would expect and like to see. Godsley does find the better of Envoy there. Aerith also able to get a kill onto Fish, and Vague finds the Tio. This is a great opportunity for the Trovo Mayhem to take the lead back in their favor. They have anchor, they have control of the hard point as well. 50 seconds on the timer still for this one, and we do have Envoy making the rotation up left, unable to find the kills he needs, looking for the anchor for his team, but Vague is going to find the kill there, and this is looking great for the Trovo Mayhem. Tectonic with a double kill off the spawn onto Fish and Envoy there. This is kind of the situation where, once again, you would expect NL to kind of back off here, go ahead and start setting up for P4. And as I say that, that is been exactly what they've done and are trying to stop the rotation over coming from Trovo Mayhem, but Vague able to get the kill on to Envoy there, likely trying to look and grab an anchor for his team, but all the members of NL have got their respawns here, and with about a 30-point lead on the side of the Mayhem, Envoy actually gets a really bad spawn here. That is an anchor flip going over to the side of Trovo Mayhem. They're likely going to get control of the P4 cap here, and I think they're just shy of enough points to close it out here. Envoy picks up a kill onto B-Nates, but Trovo Mayhem in a great position right now. Envoy taking some shots from Aerith there. B-Nates picking up a kill onto Tatio. Could potentially be very close to a game 1 win for the side of Mayhem, but NL obviously have been back and forth with them this entire time, and with all those poor respawns coming through, again, just showing how important that anchor is. Looks like NL maybe just looking to try to regroup and get things together here for the next hardpoint, but with the Trovo Mayhem only being 10 points away from victory, at least as this time boils on down, it's a difficult position to come back from.
Yeah, and even with them trying to make the rotation, they don't have any type of position to make that push over into P1 as well. Vague finding some big kills right there. It does look like Trovo Mayhem is in control of P1 for the time being, and going to be really difficult for this NL team to get the contest. Tectonic top fragging, no surprise, 29 kills on the board for him. And they are going to be able to hop on into the point right now, but they can only give up 3 seconds of hill time, and with 3 players right there, NL really not going to stand much of a chance in that respawn, and Trovo Mayhem will take the win in game number 1 at 250 to 161.
Yeah, and a lot of that really boiled down to the excellent rotations coming out of the side of the Trovo Mayhem. Specifically, Vague quite often was the one running those long anchor spawn points. We see him finishing the game 17 and 21 with only 19 seconds on the board, but looking at those last couple hard points, that anchor was so key for their victory here that you absolutely have to give him credit. Tectonic, no surprise, 30 and 15 on the board, as well as a minute and 35 of objective time. Looking over at the opposition, Fish, again, one of the newer players picked up by NL, performing kind of as well as he could around the team at 24 and 22, but the rest of the team definitely struggling quite a bit behind. Envoy down at 14 and 25. Tatio down at 14 and 24. Definitely not where we're used to seeing him on the leaderboard. Again, a lot of that could be boiled up to players kind of getting used to switching from iPad to phone, whereas, you know, looking over at the opposition, Tectonic, obviously a player that's been playing on phone pretty much forever at this point, so he's well and comfortable and warmed up, good to go for these games. And that's going to be the Trovo Mayhem taking the first game in this best of 3.
Yep, for game number 2, we are going to be hopping back into Search and Destroy on Standoff, which is always a great one to watch. Excited to see how these two teams match up against each other. Keep in mind, teams that are able to get the win versus Trovo Mayhem, if they're able to 2-0, they get an additional 10 points. If they 2-1, they do get an additional 5 points. So 2 things to keep in mind is if NL is able to bounce back in game number 2 and get the win, if they can win in Domination as well, will be able to walk away with 15 points as opposed to the 10 they normally would in a 2-1. So definitely excited to see this. I feel like the Search and Destroy is going to be the one mode where Trovo Mayhem will probably consistently struggle this season, just because it is so much about strategy, and with a constant rotation of different starters and everything else, could make things difficult for them to coordinate. But we'll have to see. They didn't have too much issue with it on Tuesday, but with that being said, we expect bigger things out of this NL roster that has consistently been at the top. it does look like we got everybody ready up and good to go for game number 2. So with that in mind, we should be hopping in as we are right here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good one ahead of us. We'll have to see if the Trovo Mayhem are able to close things out in a 2-0 fashion, or if NL are going to turn things around. NL, obviously a team that in the past we have seen it do exceptionally well, specifically in Search and Destroy, thanks to the sniping power of Cheto. However, this team has struggled a little bit in that sense, and again, a lot of that could be boiled down to players switching up their device. So we'll have to see how they adapt throughout the season. They've still shown to be an incredibly strong team. So again, hopefully we'll see those things kind of come through and work out a little better. I'm going to be honest with you here. I love that Tectonic uses the Tomahawks. Haven't quite seen him get a kill with one yet, but it's going to be awesome when it happens.
Yeah, we do see NL pushing into the site. Fish trying to land some shots onto B-nades over top of the barrel. Not able to make it happen, but that should open things up for the bomb plant to go in. It is going to go in over on to the A site, and now the pressure is on for Trovo Mayhem to get the retake right here. 4 players on site and 1 waiting on the outside for this NL team. Tatio right on the back side of the wall waiting for a player around the corner, and also there just to give his team information. Fish gonna find the easy frag with the Arctic 50 onto V-Nates. Now a 1-man advantage. Players dropping left and right for Trovo Mayhem. Godsley, a.k.a. Run It, finally able to get a frag onto Raven, but Fish waiting for him, looking over onto Broken Wall, and it will be NL taking the lead off the start.
And NL definitely needed that to answer back to the hardpoint win that Trovo Mayhem were able to pull together there. Again, started off very back and forth, but due to some crafty anchoring coming out of Vague, they were able to pull through a strong win. Cheto finds the wall bang there onto B-Nates, and that is going to be a big opening pick for them. Cheto did survive the hit marker on his end as well, so that is something to keep in mind. It's wild to watch the crosshairs there. Cheto somehow didn't get the wall bang, but does find the kill onto Aerith one way or another. And with 3 members alive on the side of Trovo Mayhem and 4 members of NL defending this bomb site here, you would very much expect to potentially see NL pick up a 2-round lead. Envoy does find the kill onto Vague there. Cheto just barely missing that shot, just barely missing that one as well. You can definitely see some of the rust here.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how Cheto missed the second shot, or really that one either.
Or that one?
It's fortunate for him that Envoy had his back right there. He finds the easy double kill to close things out right there. And with that, NL will take the 2-0 lead as it... like I said, it seems like this is going to be the game mode where Trovo Mayhem are going to struggle because it's less dependent on gun skill and more dependent on strategy. Not that gun skill isn't important, but we've seen a lot of very heavily gun-dependent teams in Mobile Mayhem struggle in Search and Destroy in the past. Only 3 kills so far through the first 2 rounds, and NL seeming to be in control once again as they've made a pretty good amount of progress on over to the A site. No first, or actually we do have first blood as Tatio drops early again, still yet to pick up a kill. Obviously it is early on, but for the leader of the team to be dropping off that early and struggling in respawn as well. For NL, you got to be hoping that he'll be able to bounce back. Cheto trying to land a snipe across mid. Aerith yet to find her first frag of the game, and Cheto does spot the laser from Gosley on the inside of Delhi. Could potentially land this wallbang, as that is kind of a risky move for Godsley, and Tectonic takes shots across mid. Vague finally finding the frag onto Raven, but the bomb goes down onto A once again. The pressure is on for Trovo Mayhem to get the retake right here. Cheto sends out the nade, trying to get this snipe. Sees one player coming over top of Broken Wall, but doesn't quite time it correctly. He's pretty content to sit back and play for the pick. Envoy finds a big double kill, and once again, NL with a man lead. Envoy barely staying alive right here. Fish trying to find the last couple players. Aerith by herself. She does find Fish. She needs another 2 and a defuse. She takes out Cheto right there. Envoy on the backside. He's trying to wait to play time. He may have played it a little too long. I'm not sure he heard the sound. She's going to get the defuse right there. A big misplay by Envoy. And Aerith with the huge play to allow Trovo Mayhem to get their first round win.
Yeah, and that was incredibly big for Aerith to clutch up there for the team. Envoy is rocking it here on the side of NL. Unfortunately for them, I was unable to get them the 3-0 lead. And this is a big opportunity for the Trovo Mayhem to kind of put a stump into the into just the momentum that NL had going through these first couple rounds. We see Cheto up top, does find the wallbang onto Tectonic there. That is potentially one of the greatest picks that you could have asked for if you are NL or an NL fan there. Godsley does find the return kill, however, onto Envoy. So we have big setup behind Tractor as well. Cheto with the beautiful shot onto B-Nates there. Finds Vague as well.
Oh my
goodness! Oh man!
The one time I'm not spectating Cheto, he goes and gets a 3-piece right in the middle of their, and Aerith is dead. Oh my gosh!
That was 3 beautiful quick scopes coming out of Cheto there. 4 kills for him that round, leading it off with that wallbang onto Tectonic, then dropped down, made the rotation over with his team. That's going to give them the 3-1 lead in the first half of Search and Destroy here.
Ooh.
And,
that's going to be a really big frag for Aerith right there, taking out Cheto, who has been a one-man wrecking ball. But despite that, NL taking the man lead off the start again. The snipes have been too clean for them, and with Fish on the bottom side, sees the laser from Aerith's sniper. He hit markers right there, wishing he had FMJ on, and she's going to be able to stay alive for a little bit longer, but Vague's going to drop to Raven as well. He's been really big the last couple of rounds. The bomb going down once again over onto the A site. And with a 2-man advantage, it is not going to be an easy task for Aerith and B-Nates. We do have Aerith overlooking the area, but with B-Nates dropping to Raven, once again, he's found so many frags the last couple rounds. Will get taken out by Aerith right there, but she now is in need of a 1v4. Nearly, or actually, I guess technically did clutch a 1v3 before because Envoy didn't get the defuse. Takes out Tatio off the head glitch. She's hitting all of her shots. She's in the flow state right now, but Envoy's on the backside. She did not account for that one. And NL looking really strong in Search and Destroy as they go up 4-1 off the start.
Yeah, what a big advantage NL seemed to have here in the Search and Destroy matchup. And again, this is kind of what we expected moving on into this game. Now with the Trovo Mayhem on the offense, we'll have to see how they play these rotations. I actually think in the past we've seen a lot of B-side plants coming out of them, which is honestly very different compared to what we see out of a lot of teams. We do have Raven getting picked off by Godsley there. What a big pick for him. 4 kills on the board. And kind of a better sniper experience out of Godsley right now than I would have expected to see up against NL. But again, he's got 4 kills on the board for himself. Aerith as well, 5 kills for her. Tectonic has Sniper out as well with 3 kills. B-Nates, the only member of the team unable to find a kill so far. Definitely like to see him pick up a couple more kills, maybe help the team make those rotations. Misses the crucial pick onto the dome of Tatio there.
Yep. And with a 2-man advantage, Trovo Mayhem not hurting too much right now. Envoy is going to find one onto Tectonic, and if there's one player you want to take out, it's definitely going to be him. Vague is going to drop as well. Players dropping left and right. Fish finds one onto B-Nates. Not a whole lot of time to work with, but another frag goes in for Envoy. The defuse attempt goes in. I don't know if he's got time. I think that he does. Envoy making the plays right here. He takes out Godsley, and it looks like NL with the 0-second defuse is going to be able to win the round.
Yeah, Envoy massively has the team on his back right now. 12 kills on the board. The massive clutch defuse. Tatio struggling so hard. This is definitely such a different play than we would have expected to see come out of NL. Um, Hopefully, we'll see them round things out for the remainder of the season. I was gonna say that's super dangerous. B-Nates is pushing the top without a sniper rifle, gets immediately beamed by Fish. Fish answers with another kill on to Godsley, and with 2-player advantage. Oh well, Aerith gonna even things out a little bit, taking the top fragger down from NL. Envoy is gonna get dropped there. It's now a 4-3 advantage for the side of NL. They're definitely still in favor here, but just like that, Aerith finds another kill, but Raven and Cheto answer back very quickly. Tectonic as well does get hit markered there. It's now a lone Tectonic up against Raven, Cheto, and Tatio. Fred, and now up against Tatio. Oh, man.
I think Tatio actually avoided the goose egg with that kill. I could be wrong. That might have been his second kill, and it was miscounting. Yeah. But, man, NL really handled that pretty easily in the search and destroy, which honestly was kind of, I'm not going to say I called it, but I definitely said that was exactly what was going to happen. Envoy 12-2. He had a couple huge rounds toward the end right there. And with that, we are going to be going to our third game 3 of the night. It is going to be Domination on firing range.
It should definitely be an exciting way to close out the night. 3 game 3s here tonight, Bobby. Definitely, definitely been a good day for Mobile Mayhem.
And I see a lot of people in chat. Chat's so two-sided. When the iPads are winning, they complain the iPad has an unfair advantage, and then when the iPads are losing, they all just spam nice iPad. The reason that some of these content creators are allowed to play on iPad is because, number one, they don't have the same amount of time to scrim consistently like these other players do because they're dedicated to creating content. And so that's why, number one, they're allowed to use it because ultimately, our objective in allowing content creators to play is to bring up the viewership of Mobile Mayhem, which ultimately allows us to get bigger prize pools, which allows us to give more money to these pro players. So I understand not everybody sees the big picture of things, but I think it also shows you, like, the iPad is not the ultimate trump card. Like, these are really good pro players that are able to match up against really good iPad players, and son of a mother duck, OBS decided to cut out. Oh my gosh. At 1.1k viewers. Son of a. And we're back. All right, refresh everybody.
Back with 105 viewers. Oh, and now 947. Awesome.
All right, we're back. Good timing for the stream to end. But yeah, like, everybody saw the games on Tuesday and assumed, oh no, iPads, they're too good. Wah. This shows you it's not really that uneven, especially when you're going against these top teams.
Especially with Tectonic and Vague playing on phone.
Exactly.
So, you know, to me, I think it's fair. I mean, I get it. I get the complaints, but, you know, again, these are content creators that are, you know, spending a majority of their day making content for what helps their setup for the videos they create. They're using their iPad, trying to force them to practice on 2 different devices for the competitive scene is just, I mean, it's incredibly difficult. So that is something to keep in mind as well, guys. So we did have NL cleaning up the final round there and pushed us into a game 3. So we'll get ready to get into that. And yeah, enough of the iPad complaints.
Yeah. It does look like
if Tatio was here on an iPad dropping 86 kills every game, I'd be on your side. But I'm not.
Yeah.
So.
And it does look like we got all of our players readied up, good to go. Zim has a very good point. I think everyone forgot Tribe comfortably beat most people for 2 seasons on full phone while most of the other teams were on iPad. Yeah. None of these people were crying about iPads whenever Tribe was all on phone, but hey. Y'all are allowed to have double standards because you're chat. We do have all our players
You're allowed
loaded
to
in.
think you have double standards.
Yeah, exactly.
Enemy taking A.
And
Easy A and C cap coming through from both of these teams.
Enemy has C.
yep, and yet to see a first blood, which is a little bit odd for a respawn right there.
Well, there's 3 kills for you.
Yeah,
There's
B-Nate's
4.
back and forth. A lot coming in for NL right there as Tatio finds 1, make it 2, and it's going to be an early B cap going in
It's too close.
for NL. Couple frags coming in for mobile. Sorry, Trovo Mayhem right there, but just like that, NL trades back. Fish on the inside of trailer. Wow, Tectonic. What a beautiful wall bang on to Fish inside of trailer. Trying to set up in top wood to try to take some map control, but with 2 players rotating on over. That's not going to be too easy for him, but he does get the frag on to Cheto anyway. Vague, it looks like, actually just reconnected, so definitely a good player to have back. I believe he actually said he was having some ping issues and internet issues, so hopefully he can get those squared away. B-Nate's off to a much stronger start than he had in Search and Destroy. We'll see if he's going to be able to keep that up. Not able to win the gunfight against Raven right there, and even with some big gunfights going the way of Trovo Mayhem, it is going to be a nice solid lead for NL off the start.
Yeah, NL definitely would like to pick up the win here over the Trovo Mayhem, as you mentioned earlier. Getting those extra 5 points for picking up a win would be ideal. And, you know, kind of keep in mind, guys, all of the teams do have this opportunity where if they play off against the Trovo Mayhem and they get the win, then they will pick up those bonus points as well. So all teams have equal opportunity to get bonus points over the Trovo Mayhem. Everything is all fair in Call of Duty.
And it's still pretty solid control for NL. Tatio actually gets a double kill right there. One of those coming from the FHJ. And Trovo Mayhem has really not been able to get anything going right here. As we do see Fish on the inside of trailer. Godsley still yet to pick up a kill. Aerith down at 1 right now. And I mean, it's going to take a big turnaround for Trovo Mayhem to get a win right here. Tectonic doing everything that he can. 5 kills, takes trailer control. It looks like the A flag will go over to NL. The flip will go in, but with the lead as big as it is right now, close to 35 points in favor of NL. A lot of work for this. Whoa, a little glitched iron sight for Tectonic right there. He is able to get a couple big ones. Actually dodges the gravity spikes. That's going to be huge for him. He's got a Pred missile ready to go, but going to need a lot more out of his teammates if they're going to be able to mount this comeback.
Yeah, it's definitely beginning to be a pretty big lead going on over to the side of NL. Again, the hardpoint matchup between these two teams was very close and down to the wire until, again, some just good anchor rotations coming out of Trovo Mayhem were able to lock them down. Massive control on the last couple points. This time around, it is looking like we're going into the second half with the better part of a 40-point lead or about, what, a 35, 36-point lead for the side of NL. No persistence in play, obviously, as we do have that banned here for Season 5. We have a RC car for Envoy, but really no score streaks for anybody other than Tectonic, who does have a Goliath and does have a Pred missile, but a 34-point lead for NL going into the second half will be incredibly difficult for the Trovo Mayhem to overcome, shy of Tectonic's Goliath just getting massive value.
Yeah, and we've had so many players making big plays, especially Cheto toward the end of that half, able to prevent the triple cap from going in for this Trovo Mayhem team, and obviously the A and C caps going in for both teams. Another frag for Tio, who's starting to heat up right here as he moves up to 8 kills on the board. We do see Tectonic. Like you said, he's got the Goliath, he's got the Pred missile. He's actually going to go ahead and call in the Goliath and trying to prevent any pressure from that Pred missile, or using the Pred missile to keep off the pressure. He's actually going to allow Godsley to hop into that. If he's going to be able to hop into 10, he can get some really good value. He's going to stay in American for the time being, which is probably not going to give him max utility, but now that he's hopping on over into the inside of trailer, could potentially make some big plays, especially being able to not only keep an eye on the C flag, but also onto the B flag, as we do have Trovo Mayhem looking to take control of B.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to. Tectonic, obviously not getting the value out of the Goliath that they would have liked to see. They're still sitting down about 30 points right now, so not in a great position. B still uncapped by either team. Every player of NL in double digits now. Raven with 11, Tio 11, Fish 10, Envoy 15, and Cheto 11. You have Aerith down at 8, Vague and B-Nates down at 7, but Tech up at 15, and Godsley showing that he should have been a pro player all this time, rocking 11 kills on the board.
Yep, some big plays once again with Trovo Mayhem taking control of the B flag right there. Everybody in double digits for NL right now, so they're not struggling to get frags really, but their map control is not really there right now. They're going to need to get control of trailer to have a chance at getting that B flag back. And you can see 3 players pushing up right here. Should be easy for them to get that control. Starting to get a couple kills in the feed. They do have to keep an eye on Tectonic, who's once again fragging out and trying to make his way up to a Pred missile right here. Obviously no operators in play right now, and a little bit of time on the hill going in for NL, as we do have Tectonic up at the top of 10. Barely wins the gunfight against Raven. That's actually going to be a huge one. That would have really opened things up over on the B flag, and now it will be Trovo Mayhem taking the B flag back down, as Tectonic just doing an absolutely masterful job of controlling the map with his 10 control.
Yeah, so far has been the case, and with the double cap still in their favor, there is plenty of time and plenty of score on the board for the Trovo Mayhem to continue holding this for a win. And we do have NL trying to get the cap here, but unable to do so.
Oh, they get it.
Yeah, Fish and with Tio sliding the corner back to back there are able to avoid the bullets of Tectonic. However, Tectonic does get a double kill, looks to take the recap, but Envoy is there and Envoy is ready. So double cap back in favor of NL now, trying to extend their lead. Tectonic makes a big rotation up top, finds the kill onto Envoy. That might be enough to get the Trovo Mayhem control back of their point. Oh no! Oh,
wow.
That was so rough to watch. Tectonic dropped into the triple kill from the Tempest there, and that is absolutely huge for Fish.
And oh, they get knocked off the B flag again. Trovo Mayhem just not able to get that control. B-Nates does get the final frag with the Annihilator, and it looks like they're able to hop on just in time to prevent the need for a triple cap, but they're going to need to hold this for full time if they're going to have a shot at winning this one. And they, oh my gosh, it's going to be so close. We do see players over on A. Trovo Mayhem holding the triple cap actually for a second right there. That's going to be huge. Finally, NL taking control of C. B-Nates getting a big frag on the backside of trailer, and he's going to be contested by Envoy. Trades going in. Raven trying to take out Godsley. He's not going to be able to do it. Tectonic, no surprise, top fragging once again. And it does look like Trovo Mayhem. Oh, they've got control. I don't think they have enough time to make the comeback happen. There's only 10 seconds left on the board. Even if they were able to get the triple cap right here, they don't have enough time. They weren't able to get the control early enough on. And it looks like NL is going to come out on top 183 to 171. keep in mind, teams that take out the content creator team, aka Trovo Mayhem, do get an additional 5 points for a 2-1 victory. So they'll actually get 15 points for that win as opposed to the usual 10.
Yep, and if you are able to 2-0 the content creator team, you get an extra 10 points. So definitely be keeping an eye out for that, because there is some big competition here in Season 5, Bobby. Specifically looking here, obviously, at NL being incredibly strong, even with the transition. Zygnus being an incredibly strong team as well. Obviously, Tribe, a team that we have seen competing and been pretty dominant in all of their matchups. So definitely going to be some exciting content towards the upper echelon of these divisions, as well as even the middle. I think there's quite a few really exciting teams that are kind of in the upper middle, but maybe not quite the top of the top. You know what I mean?
Yep. Definitely. And I mean, it goes to show, like, a lot of people saw the games on Thursday and assumed there's a big unfair advantage for the Trovo Mayhem team. And this is definitely a very talented team, but these phone teams put in the time, they put in the work. They are good enough to win these games, and NL shows it right there, the big performances. I mean, when you've got Titio close to the bottom of the leaderboard every single time, and you're still able to walk away with the match win, that is going to be absolutely massive, because he has been, for the most part, the big carry for this team. So to have those new players like Fish and Raven, it seems like Fish and Raven have been stepping up the most recently for this team. For them to be the two top fraggers in this final matchup, definitely.
It is my understanding that Fish and Raven were picked up as pre-existing phone players, so that is one thing to consider.
Gotcha. I did not know that. That makes sense. But
yep, so really, really big pickups for them, and really, in my opinion, really shows how scary NL can be, especially if Titio can get in the groove that he once was on the iPad, now being here on the phone. I mean, if you start seeing Titio top fragging for the team again, this is a terrifying team.
Yeah. Definitely a great matchup to watch. I appreciate everybody being here. This has been definitely one of the biggest viewership-wise nights of Mobile Mayhem in the entire history of the tournament. So thank you guys so much for all the support. I believe Zim is going to be hosting the rest of the game, so we're going to go ahead and host him. Make sure to spam hashtag use code Bob in chat, but that's going to be it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Drop a like, subscribe, follow. We'll be back next Tuesday, and we'll see you guys in the next one.